Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead, hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to be talking about a topic. I have covered this before because it needs to be on the record. And some of y'all know I done lost a channel or two. So I have to cover certain things again just to make sure that they're for the record. But you can never reiterate this one you can never reiterate this one too much. Okay. What do you require her to bring to the table? This is a question that every black man really needs to ask himself. What do you require her to bring to the table? Now, before I go too far into this, first, I want to give a shout out to people who help make things happen around here. We have people that come in, and, I appreciate everybody who gives me views. I do appreciate them. I appreciate everybody who put these comments, and after the stream is over. Those matter a great deal. I appreciate everybody who's catching it live, of course, and what y'all doing in the chat. But I also really got to appreciate the people who step up to the plate and become financial contributors to the stream. Okay, because they're the few, they're the proud, and they making things happen around here. And I appreciate each and every one of them, y'all. And remember, there's nothing too big or too small. I do appreciate it all. all the money on the wood is good over here at the Roger Report Live. So shout out to my main man, Oliver the Gray. He is the sponsor of today's stream. Okay, he is a sponsor of today's stream. And this is a good stream to be a sponsor of, if you ask me, because they all are good streams to be sponsored, to be the sponsor of. But, we got to deal with this question of what do you require her to bring to the table? Now, I do understand there's people who, have now started to ask, what do you bring to the table? Which is a good question for someone to ask when you're not used to, asking these different things, and there are women who get very offended by men asking this question. Well, before I get into this, let me first of all give some shout outs to some of the first people to check in, because it's always great that when you start the show, you see somebody checking in. It's always good to see. And if y'all don't know, around here, we like to, pay a little bit of tribute to the first one in. We like to call them the Highlander of today's stream. And you know what? Shout out to my main man, Trail Bentley, who come through, taxes and all. Okay. He is the Highlander of today's stream. Shout out to you, Trail Bentley. Shout out to you. Always great to see you, brother. Always great to see you. And that's real talk. That's real talk. Shout out to Shark Sims. He's in the building. What's going on, Shark? Glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. My main man who helped keep us a little bit in order over here, because we get a little too out of pocket sometimes. Shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. Great to have you in the building. Great to have you in the building. The pit master himself, y'all. The pit master himself. Okay, shout out to the righteous teacher. What's going on, my brother? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. We got Sarah B in the house. Hey, Sarah. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Tunnel Runner is in the building as well. Great to see you. Great to see you. We got Floyd Thompson in the house. Yay, yay. Good to have you here, my brother. Good to have you here. Maggie Thompson under the veil is here. Shout out to Maggie Thompson. Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Afro Merchant is checking in. Good to have you, my brother. And Superstar J Quick is in the building. What's going on? What's going on? Glad to see y'all here. Glad to see y'all here. And we're going to get right into this, y'all, because I do think this subject matter can never be spoken about too much, especially for Black men, because this is just something we're not used to. Okay, let's be realistic about ourselves. It's just something we're not used to, which is, what do you require her to bring to the table? Now, it's nice that some men are starting to ask a woman, what does she bring to the table? Okay. It's also nice to know that some women are so offended by that question. Because, when you think about it, we wouldn't have never really known how offended they would be by such a question. Had it never been brought up in conversations, had it never been asked, I wouldn't have necessarily guessed that women would have just had such a nasty reaction to a simple question like this. A question where you're not insulting anybody. Okay, there's no way to say you're insulting a woman by asking her what she brings to the table. Okay, you're not taking a dig at her looks at all. Okay, you're not saying anything about her character. You just simply asking the question to gain some information. And women have had this very, very nasty reaction to this question. Okay. I've even seen women say they've been trying to put together stuff to ward off the question, to try to make the man feel bad simply because he asked the question. Like, it's crazy work out here. A woman can like you, be interested, and if you ask her a question, he don't like you no more. That's crazy in itself. I've seen women say that, I would instantly stop talking to a guy if he asks this question. So they're trying to make guys scared to ask a question, which is crazy in itself, which is crazy. Now, I do think the question of what you bring to the table is a cool question until you figure out what it truly is supposed to be about. Because it's truly supposed to be about what do you require her to bring to the table, But, yeah, some women having some real issues with that. Shout out to Maggie Thompson under the veil. She says, it's just like a job interview. Why should I hire you? Is the same as why should I date you? Shout out to Maggie Thompson Underville. And you know what, Maggie? You are correct. You are correct. Because truth be told, as men, we shouldn't be looking to date women we're not actually interested in hiring as a wife. It's just a long interview process. That's all. Just a very long interview process. It's not going to be, 2 or 3 interviews. No, you're going to have to prove yourself over a good period of time. But that's what dating is for. And, unfortunately, there's so many people who don't get that. And I'm going to say that's men's fault because y'all let dating be something other than that. Now, why am I saying this? And I'm saying for whoever's included, because I know I said y'all, so whoever's included in that. I ain't talking about the people who ain't included. But when you make dating something other than a situation to find a wife, you can't trip about how other people start looking at what it is. You're the one creating the scenario. See, as men, we're gonna pick a woman to take out. We're gonna pay for the outing. Even if you do it cheap, you're still doing it. You could take her to the you could take her to the park for a picnic. You can get some meal together yourself and make it real cheap, but you're the one controlling the scenario. So I do understand men will say stuff about what dating is. This is what you make it, bro. You're the one taking on the date. You're the one paying for the date. So it's what you say it is. Now, if dating has become something other than what you planned out, that's a personal problem you need to solve. Okay? Now, I'm not trying to hit nobody too hard, but I'm just telling you what it is. If dating is something other than what you deem for it to be, then you need to figure out why you dating in the first place. And how come your dates ain't about a woman you're interested in marrying? I wouldn't take a woman out if I don't have no interest in marrying her. If there's zero possibility that we go ever get married, why am I taking her anywhere? I don't understand what that's for. I don't get it. Okay? I don't get it. It just don't make sense to me. All right? Now, people say, well, some of these hoes ain't worth dating. If you truly believe that, why you dating them? Okay? Because there's a lot of hoes that are clear hoes and they expect to be taken out. So why is that even a thing? Why is that even a thing? Why do hoes expect to get taken out? See, back in the day, hoes understood they weren't going out. Hoes knew that. Okay? Men would still date women and then they would just go see hoes. The hoes knew they wasn't going nowhere. It is what it is. There was an understanding that I'm not supposed to be seen out in public with the hoe anyway. The hoe knew it and the dude knew it. All right. So now the thing is, men aren't getting what they want out of relationships, which clearly they haven't been at a large majority, which is why they're not going so smoothly. Okay. The average black woman is not worth marrying, not because Roger says so, because that's what the people said. See, understand that. The average black woman ain't married. So it ain't because I say so. It's because that's what the results show. All right. If they were worth marrying, they'd be married. And this is something a lot of men need to actually, put a little bass to their voice about. No. If you're worth marrying, you're married. It just is what it is. I don't want to hear it. We all can make excuses. Everybody needs to figure out something going on about themselves, make themselves a little bit better. But when it comes down to the marriage game, if you're not married, you're not worth it. It's that simple. Now, that's not to say that's not an insult to anybody. It's just to say, hey, this is what your reality is. And if you don't like that reality, you can do something about fixing it. Now, as a man, I'm only supposed to marry a woman that I believe is worthy enough to be my wife. Why would I marry some woman who ain't worthy to be my wife? That don't even make sense. That's like begging for a divorce. Okay. And divorces haven't been too kind to men. So I don't know why a man would beg for a divorce. It makes no sense. But the thing is, if you really want to connect with a person, if you really want to have a good life together, because see, that's what marriage is for. It's about having a good life together. Now I do get it where some men are gonna say, well, I don't want to get married. Well, then guess what? This ain't for you. Why are you dating anybody if you don't want to get married? Why would you already have decided in your mind that I'm never going to get married, but you take anyone out? Why would you do that? Okay. Are you just trying to mess up stuff for other people? What's the point of you taking a woman out if you're never getting married? If you never get married, stand on it. It ain't like you can't pull chicks anyway by saying you ain't never getting married. Chicks, a lot of women out here be real slow about what's going on. And a lot of them will date. Well, you shouldn't be dating them, but a lot of them will mess with you as a challenge because she just want to know I can make his mind change. She may not want to go through with it for real. Maybe not with you, but she wants to know I can change his mind. So if you just tell a woman, look, baby, I just want to have a good time with you, and she say something about going out, well, I ain't really trying to go out because I ain't never trying to get married. I ain't never trying to date you like I'm gonna marry you one day or something like that. She's gonna have a fun time trying to get you to change your mind. Brothers be acting like they got something to lose when it's set up for you to win. Okay, it's set up for you to win. When you tell a woman straight up that there's no need for us to ever go out, we don't need to kick it like that because I have no interest in marrying you. Now, when she makes her own decision to say, no, I want to prove him wrong, I can make this nigga bury me. Because that's the attitude a lot of them take. I can make this nigga bury me. How do you lose as a man? She's going to try to do stuff to get you interested in her. How do you lose? I don't see what the law says. Now, for those who are going to date, the thing is, you got to understand why she's worth dating. Because as a man, it's going to cost you your money, your energy, your time. That has to be valuable to you. All right. Now, people, of course, may say, well, it needs to be valuable to the woman too. That's on her to figure out. It is not your job to figure out value for her if you're going on a date. Your job is to see if she's good enough for you to marry her. That's it. You don't need to worry about her assessment. A lot of guys, we do so much of the wrong stuff because we so worried about what the woman thinking. I don't care what she's thinking. Okay. I'm trying to see if she's worth me doing something with. What she thinking at that particular point don't really make me no difference. And people say, well, what if she decides she doesn't like you? Like, what did I lose? Nothing. I'm not the person looking for a husband. The person looking for the husband is a person who's looking to get an immediate gain in their life. Okay, an immediate gain. When a man decides to help you, that's an immediate gain for a woman. All right. If a woman decides to help a man, not necessarily an immediate gain. She could be, if we want to be real about it, she could be, but it's not necessarily going to be that way. Okay. A lot of men are going to get an extra burden. They're going to get a liability. The woman's going to she's going to make money go away from him. Eventually they'll have kids and more money will go away from him. He may have to move to a different place. More money will go away from him. He might have to get multiple vehicles. More money will go away from him. Now, the thing is, every liability is not a bad thing. A wife is a good liability, even if she is a liability. But she has to be a wife first. Okay? A house is a good liability if you can live in it. Okay? A car is a good liability if it can get you from point A to point B. There are liabilities that are good things. But for a lot of men, which men don't want to really be honest about, a wife is going to be a liability. There are some cases where women can be an asset, but that's not what we expect to get. Now, I know we don't supposed to say this out loud, and some people say saying that out loud hurts women's feelings. They're adults, they'll be all right. Okay? They are adults, they will be all right. All right? It ain't that big a deal. Okay. Now, this is the thing. Now, as a man, what are you out there for? If you dating a woman and you don't want her to be your wife, what's your purpose? Okay. If all you want is sex, that's on you at the end of the day. But why are you dating her to get that? That just don't make sense to me. Okay. That just don't make, if all you want is sex, you don't need to take her to a nice restaurant to get sex out of women. I mean, they be giving it up, in case y'all ain't noticed. Okay. It's not what you need to do to get some sex. Okay. If you just want a sex buddy, get a sex buddy. Okay. Have an understanding, y'all adults, this is what we gonna do. Because I don't want to get married. And there's men who say they don't want to get married anymore, but there's also women who claim it. Now I know the women be lying because it's natural for a woman to want to be married. But my thing is, grab hold of the ones that claim they don't want to get married, and then y'all do you. Now she will eventually get attached, more than likely, and she'll probably eventually want to marry you, more than likely. But the thing is, you told her what it was before you started, so you was honest, and that's on her at the end of the day. All right. Now the thing is, as black men, why don't we have requirements for women? Most of us are out here trying to figure out how to impress some woman who is eventually going to be a liability to us. Now, my thing is, I ain't calling women a liability in some negative way. I'm just saying what it is in reality. We're trying to impress some woman who's going to be a liability to us. And now it'd be nice if she became an asset. It would be nice. But see, when you don't have no requirements, it's hard for a woman to be an asset. Okay? For years and years and years now, women would do stuff for men, and people would act like it's a problem that they're doing stuff for men. You helped your man with his resume? Girl, what's wrong with you? You helped your man with his schoolwork? What's wrong with you? You helped them study for a test? What's wrong with you? I've seen time and time and time again over the years where women who did stuff for men to help a man out, people had bad reactions to it. I don't get why you would have a bad reaction to a woman helping her man. If he is in college and he's trying to get a degree and the woman's going to help him study, those are women who can become assets to you. Okay, she going to help me get my degree. See, it's possible for a woman to be an asset. It is possible. I'm not saying a woman has to be a liability. It is very much possible for a woman to be an asset, but she has to want to be an asset. If you help a person study for his degree and he gets his degree, that's being an asset. Okay? If a man wants us to get a business off the ground and you help him get his business off the ground, that's being an asset. It don't have to be something super technical, y'all. The thing is, as men, we don't ask them to do stuff. Let's just say you're going to do a small landscaping business. You finna start your own landscaping business. Your girl can make some flyers, man. It ain't that she can make flyers. Now, maybe you got a job, but you're going to start your own landscaping business. And a lot of times people do this. They'll start a business while they're still working for somebody else. Okay. Well, while you at work, she could be putting some flyers up and around. And maybe you get some calls and then you get a couple deals here and there. That's a woman being an asset. Okay. She's going to help you bring in more money than she's costing. Now, it may not happen right away, but every woman can potentially be an asset to a man. The truth is, most women are not going to be an asset to a man. They're going to be a liability, but they should at least be a good liability. And the thing is, men going to have to be comfortable with this idea, and you're going to have to make women comfortable with the idea. I am not saying she can't be an asset. They all got the potential to be an asset. Most of them, unfortunately, won't be an asset, but she could at least be a good liability. Okay. if you if you ain't gonna help me make no money, you can at least make me feel comfortable spending my money on you. Okay. You can at least make me comfortable with that. And a lot of times, men, we simply don't make women understand you. It's your job to make me comfortable spending money on you. Because, women would say little things, or, I want some diamond earrings, for example. Should a woman get diamond earrings? Now, for me, I think that's if she's married to you, sure, you can get her some diamond earrings. I wouldn't get no diamond earrings for somebody I'm not married to, but if you're married, sure, she can get some diamond earrings. Okay, because she's supposed to meet a certain expectation you have of her. You should be able to tell her what you expect. Now, truth be told, there's three main things that I have done the research on that guys won't, and most of us won't even ask for it. Those three things turned out to be loyalty, which was like the major one, the major of the major. I'll say that it's the major of the major because these three are the major ones. Because if you don't have all three, there's no point in having a relationship with a woman. So, you got your loyalty, you have good character, and there's good company. If you don't have those three, none of the other stuff matters. Now, she could be cute, but does it matter if she's not loyal? Okay. She could be smart, but what does that mean if she has bad character? See, those three things hold the whole thing together. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get a perfect woman. I'm not going to say you're going to get a woman that's just going to be everything you want her to be. But if you don't get these three things, your relationship going to be trash anyway. There's no point in getting in it. But will you tell a woman that these things are required? And if there's things that are a big deal to you, then they may not be a big deal to society. And a lot of women would tell you no to something if they think it's a big deal to, if society don't necessarily agree with it. But is it a big deal to you? Think about this, y'all. Now, me, I let a woman know I want sex. And why do I tell women I want sex? Because there's an issue among some women that once they get married to a man, they're not really gonna have sex anymore. That ain't the wife I'm looking for. Okay, so I tell you through the door. No, I'm almost sex every day. Now I understand there'll be some days I might be too tired to do something. Okay, so don't worry about that. There'll be some days when you're on your cycle. Don't worry about that. Okay, but from a general context, I'm expecting sex every day. Now, some men are uncomfortable saying something like that to a woman because, you know, women will have you thinking you're pressuring her to do something she don't want to do. You can have that idea. That's on you at the end of the day. But if that's what I want, that's what I want. I'm not really concerned with how society thinks about me getting sex every day. That is not my concern. Okay. Now I understand there's people who get on social media and other places and they have these talks and they try to make men feel like they shouldn't want sex every day. I don't care what none of them people talking about. Okay, ain't nothing they saying gonna make sense to me. If you telling me I shouldn't want sex with my own wife every day, you a fool. Okay, well the Bible say you shouldn't call people a fool. I ain't gonna say you a fool. But you are surely mistaken, okay? To tell me that I should want to have sex with my own wife every day sounds crazy. That's just an asinine thought. Who am I supposed to want it from? Okay? See, any woman who would say, well, you shouldn't want sex every day, I'm your wife. That's not what I'm here for. Well, then who should I want it from? You tell me. If it ain't you, who do you want me to want sex from? Because I'll take a look at that woman and see if I agree. How about that? Okay. Well, that's you're mistreating your woman by being sexually attracted to her. Is that how I'm mistreating my you know is that mistreatment for me to be sexually attracted to my wife? That's mistreatment. Okay, is that mistreatment? Because that don't make no sense to me. Now, I'm not gonna say there ain't some smart people who said stupid stuff like that, but everybody say stupid stuff sometime. My thing is, just because you a smart person don't mean I'm gonna accept stupidity. Okay, so if you think that I shouldn't want sex from my wife every day, I have to conclude that you're being stupid right now. Okay, I have to conclude that you're being stupid right now. Now, maybe you're not stupid all the time. Okay, maybe you're not stupid all the time. Okay, but you are being stupid right now. Hey, more power to you. Okay, more power to you. Okay. Now, there's people who say, well, you shouldn't expect your wife to cook and clean. Well, I mean, why not? See, the thing is, as a man, if that's what you require, it shouldn't be a surprise. You should know that already. If you're one of the type of men to say, look, it's on you to cook and clean, then you tell her that up front. These are the requirements that I have. Okay. I don't think it's a man's job to cook and clean, because there's men who gonna say that, you know. And don't get it twisted. Society will try to shame those men. Society will try to shame those men. But at the end of the day, so what? Why are you concerned with society trying to shame you, when at the end of the day, it ain't even your job to care? Okay? It's just not your job to care. Yeah, they're gonna try to shame you. Yeah, that's something they do. Okay, cool. They're gonna try to shame you. All right. That don't mean I got to go for it. Now, if I want my woman to cook and clean for me, you know what my woman should do? Cook and clean for me. Now, I understand there's some people who gonna have their woman, they're gonna work outside the house. Hold on one second, y'all. Shout out to Floyd Tyler. He said it's mistreatment if you ask her for a good old sandwich after sex, Roger, according to society. You know what, Floyd? That's an actual good point. That is an actual great point, honestly. There are people in society that want you to put a bunch of work in when it comes to sex. And then you want a sandwich after sex. And there's people who will say that ain't right for you to ask for. Why would I care what you think? You know, real talk. Why would I care? This is me and my wife. This is me and my wife. I need my wife to fit my requirements. I don't need my wife to fit your requirements. I need my wife to fit my requirements. That's how that go. I need my wife to fit my requirements. Because if my wife fits my requirements, I'm going to be good. If my wife fits your requirements, that ain't going to work. But there's a lot of us who, as black men, we've been trained to listen to other people and take stuff into consideration that don't count. Now, if you present something to somebody who would be your wife if you get married, and she says she got a problem with some of the stuff you present, yeah, can you take that in consideration? Yeah, you take that into consideration. You talk about that stuff. You tell her, look, some stuff I can let go. I can move past. Because, there are some compromises that can be made. But there's other things where there can't be no compromise. You know, there's women who want to have sex possibly once every other month. I'm not compromising with that. I'm not saying you can't do you. You just can't do you with me. That's all. I'm not compromising on something like that. I'm just not. All right. Any woman who doesn't accept the idea that I'm gonna want sex every day, we just not getting married. I don't want to spend money on her. It just is what it is. All right. Now, my children, if I ever get somebody pregnant and they have a child, okay, and I would expect that to be my wife, but being my wife does not get you off the hook. All my children gonna get tested, y'all, and that's supposed to be a black man standard. All your children, your newborn babies, all of them should be tested. There will be no signing of a birth certificate until I get the test back. Now, my thing is this: as a man, that's my requirement. So if I'm talking to a woman and I'm asking her what she brings to the table, she can throw out a lot of stuff that may not mean anything to me. So I'm gonna focus on telling her what I require her to bring to the table. See, I'm not gonna talk to you and say, well, baby, this is what it is for me, and I'm not gonna give you no long drawn out story, and I'm not gonna make something up to make you more comfortable. One of the things that I require is for the children to be tested before I sign a birth certificate. That is a requirement. If you want me to sign a birth certificate, I'm going to get all the children tested. We're going to get the results back, give a confirmation that the children belong to me, and then we can talk about signing the birth certificate. Any woman who says anything where that's going to be a problem for her, I don't care what her problem is. That's the requirement. Well, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because I would feel like you don't trust me. And that's something you can expect a woman to say. Okay. I wouldn't feel comfortable with that because that would make me feel like you don't trust me. I don't care what you think about it. Okay. That is not something that is up for debate. It's a requirement. Okay. Requirements aren't negotiable. That's the thing. Requirements ain't negotiable. I don't care what you think. That's my requirement. I don't care what you think. If you want me to put money into you and make sure you good and make sure the kids good and possibly put my life on the line for you, this is a requirement. It's not a debate. It's not even a debate. When you become comfortable with this idea, call me. That's just what it is. This is a requirement. This ain't something to be negotiated. Okay? There are requirements every man should have. And every man should feel comfortable telling his potential wife what his requirements are. There are going to be some things that will sound horrible to somebody else, but if those are your actual requirements, then you just say that. Okay? I personally don't like cooking. So I want a woman who's comfortable cooking on a regular basis. Now, why do I want her comfortable cooking on a regular basis? Because if she ain't comfortable cooking on a regular basis, that means I'm cooking on a regular basis. I cook some of the time, sure, but I don't want to cook on I don't even like cooking. Okay? I don't like cooking. So why would I want a woman who, let's say I get a woman who doesn't like cooking. How that's supposed to work? Neither one of us like cooking, but we got to eat every day, right? We got to eat every day. All right? My thing is you cook the food, you know what I'm saying? I do the dishes or something like that. Now, that's if she has a job, okay? If she has a job. Now, if she ain't got no job, she going to take care of all that because that is her job. And I get it. There are some women who say, well, they don't like having household responsibilities and stuff being on her, even if she's a housewife. Well, if you're going to be a housewife, you're going to have requirements for being a housewife. It just is what it is. Do I care how you feel about those requirements? No, because that's not what marriage is about. Marriage is not about doing everything you like. Marriage is about two people making a life with each other. That's what it's about. So to make a life with me, if you don't want to work outside the home, which I'm totally fine with, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of negatives to having a woman work outside the home as well. And people can say, well, there's a lot of negative for a woman working in the house. There's also a lot of negatives for a woman working outside as well. Okay, because if my woman go to work, something bad can happen to her at work or on her way to work, on her way coming home from work. It's a lot of negatives in that too. You got to pick your poison at the end of the day. But if you ain't got no job, then yeah, automatically you're gonna cook all the time. Okay, that is your job. That's what you get for being a housewife. And see, I'm not no person who gonna argue with you about is it harder to work outside of the home than it is inside the home. This is the job that comes with the person who's gonna be a housewife. Period. It just is what it is. Now, why won't I even play with stuff like that? Because there's something that I can offer that women don't want to take. Because dig is here. I cook every day. But guess what? I get to be a house husband. You gonna take care of us. You're gonna go out, you're gonna work, you're gonna earn enough money to take care of whatever our needs are. Plus, you're gonna take care of some of our wants, because I'm gonna be a house husband. Now, am I gonna actually be one? No, I'm not. I don't trust no woman like that to actually be a house husband. But see, the thing is, I'll offer that to the woman. If she don't like what comes with being a housewife, okay, I will offer to be a house husband. All right. You can make sure we straight. But see, there's something that goes on with a lot of women. They just don't want to take care of a man. You know? And when they say little silly stuff to me about how they don't want to take care of a man, I'll be like, man, hey, this is what equality is all about. It was about giving you the choice to get out there and work yourself half to death to make sure we good. What you mean we? Yeah, when we have kids, I'm gonna be at home with the kids. That's what I'm gonna do. But you a man, but and you either gotta take it, man. You gotta take what's real. I can't argue with you about this stuff. I can't. If I'm gonna be a house husband, I'm gonna be a house husband all the way. You're gonna take care of me till the day I die. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna battle with them people. Yeah, you may not like your coworkers. You're gonna have to deal with it because I gotta eat every day. All right. You may not like your boss. You gotta deal with it because I gotta eat every day. All right. Your job may be tough at times. You got to deal with it because I got to get these kids to soccer practice, okay? We need that gas money to put in the van so I can get the kids to soccer practice, right? Because I'm gonna need a minivan, right? You have to get us a minivan. So I'm gonna need you to get out there and work like it's real. See, the thing is, you got to pick your poison at the end of the day. But it is better for men to just simply tell women what they require her to bring to the table. It's nice to hear what women can bring to the table. But if you want an actual marriage that works out, where y'all actually stay together for decades like you're supposed to, guess what? You're going to have to tell her what you require her to bring to the table. Shout out to Trail Bentley, y'all. Trail Bentley just got me out of the minivan. And he just got me into an SUV. Trail Bentley, you're correct, sir. You're correct. What I look like driving the minivan? I'm going to need that to be an SUV. Okay? So I'm going to need you to pull those extra shifts in. So we can afford that extra gas for that SUV. Real talk. You may have to work a couple Saturdays. It is what it is. You may not have to work every Saturday, but you might have to work a few Saturdays every month, okay? Maybe 2 Saturdays a month, you're going to have to go in for an extra shift. Do what you got to do, okay? And, maybe you got a nice office job where you're going to have to, go in early and stay a little late. But it's going to be all right. Go in early, stay a little late. It's going to be fine. But for me to be at home and to be comfortable at home with these children, you got to go make all that stuff happen. Ain't no negotiating, okay? Once we doing it, we doing it. All right? Once we doing it, we doing it. It is what it is. But H Rebels has decided to come up, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to H Rebels. Let him get exactly what he want to get out. You have the flow, my brother. How you doing?
Hey, hello. Good morning, Roger. Shout out to you as the host, and hello to all the folks who are listening. This was actually pretty simple and kind of easy for me. What do you require her to bring to the table, right? And essentially, we're talking about a good, solid relationship that leads to marriage, correct?
That's the only good solid relationship you can.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is that so when I talk to young men, right? Because because you guys know I'm married. I mean, I don't brag about it too much, but I mean, you guys generally know. Most of you guys here know I'm married. Got a great wife. I'm always bragging on her. She's doing great and amazing things. She pretty much checks all the boxes that I was looking for. So I would have been foolish not to marry her. You know what I'm saying? Like you're only gonna meet like one or two women that you really like, that you know you can get along with, that you actually can see yourself building a life with. One, probably two, possibly three. That's kind of a long shot, but when you find her, just shut up and marry her, man, because you ain't gonna get it again, right? So if you find somebody that checks all those boxes, then you really want to be happy in a good solid relationship. Yeah, go ahead and marry her. Now, here's the thing: you're absolutely right, Roger. I've listened to part of your commentary, and you have to give the requirements. Where what you really have to do is you have to make your requirements that are amenable to you, that you can actually live with, and come up with that's gonna get you essentially through a long-term relationship and then into marriage and then all throughout the rest of your life. I tell young men, this is the young men that I talk to who ask me about the marriage and hey Kev, what are you talking about? I see you doing pretty good over here. You're always bigging up your wife. So how'd you do it? What'd you come up with? I said, look, come up with 5 variables, man. 5 variables, because I use 5 because you got 5 fingers on your hands. That's most of us, right? Most of us got 5 fingers on our hand, and most people can remember 5 things. They can remember 5 items, right off the top of their head, and then they don't have to remember too much, right? So that's kind of what I came up with. But the thing is that I go with the stuff that's automatically a given, and the given is, and this is the standard, and this is basic prototype for all races of men, what they're looking for in any race of women, no matter where they are in the world, which is you got to show up young. Obviously, of adult age. We're talking about women of adult age, young, fit and in shape, great personality, no kids, and ready to be a wife and mother. That is the standard model for everybody. I don't care where you are in the world, right? We can agree that that's a standard model for every woman that should be ready. That should be. If you say you want to be a wife, that's the standard model for everybody, right? Can we agree to that?
I mean, those are great. Those are absolutely fantastic things. Real.
Okay, and that okay then, outstanding, Roger. And that applies to any woman in the world or any man in the world, no matter where you are. All right, that's what we want you. We want you when you're young. We want you to show up, fitting in shape, nice personality, no kids, and ready to be a wife and mother. We ain't got to teach you nothing. We just need to shape you to the wife and mother that we want you to be based on our likings and to our standards and what it is we're going to work out as a husband and wife. But that's the base model. So I don't like to go into the base model stuff too much because that's pretty basic. And that now you got to go into, okay, now what are the 5 criteria that you're looking for as a man? And if you're trying to actually find a wife. And I say, look, I got a little acronym that I use. AIR RCP, right? Aesthetics. Find a woman who's aesthetically pleasing to you. Not to everybody else, but to you. So I can kind of agree with Paul Pierce on what he was talking about in his video, right? And then a woman who's intelligent, right? You determine the level of intelligence that you want. Everything from high school to college level to, I don't know, PhD and all this other stuff. You determine that, but basically she just needs to be intelligent across the board. Not an idiot, not an airhead, but somebody who's intelligent in all areas of life, because that's going to show up in other areas. That's going to show up how she operates as a wife and a mother, and how she interacts with you, the family, extended family, and the community, right? And then you need a woman who's responsible. Again, responsible in all areas of life: personal life, professional life, academic life. There's a saying, how you do one thing is pretty much how you do almost everything, right? So if you do one thing right in most of those areas, then you're probably going to do it the same in all the other areas of life. and then somebody with character, right? Character, and you know, character relates to integrity, honesty, and that kind of speaks to loyalty, right? So that's kind of how I relate that. And then personality. Personality is somebody who's just nice and pleasant to be around. She doesn't walk around with resting BITC. What is it? With an angry face. I'll just clean it up a little bit. With an angry face and interacting with people in a negative way. So that's really all it is. So that's how I came up with my little acronym. And I use that to kind of mentor young men in my family and anybody who asked me, you know, when I was running around the college campuses, when I was, you know, taking college classes and, you know, picking up, doing some more studying and stuff like that. They see me as an older dude, you know, they see the wedding ring. They see me bigging up my wife. They're like, hey, Mr. Cab, you know, I heard you talking about your wife. So what's up? I go, look, man, AIRCP, aesthetics, intelligence, responsibility, character, and personality. Work with that. You know, you got those main categories, and up underneath those main categories are subcategories. And if you operate based off of that, and you look for a woman that that fits all of those, maybe you're not going to get all 5, but you should at least get 4 out of 5. 3 out of 5 is pushing it, but 4 out of 5 is great. 5 out of 5 is excellent because that's the woman you got to marry. If you let her go, you're going to spend the rest of your life knowing that that's the one that got away, because you're not going to find somebody else who meets all of those criteria if you run into her and then you go, well, you know, I'm not ready just yet. I'm going to just play around a little bit more. You're going to spend a pretty good bit of your time going, you know what? That's the one that got away from me, and that's my fault. And yes, you do need to take accountability for that. But that's kind of how I do it. That's kind of how I do business. And that's how I teach and mentor these young men, both in my family and anybody who wants to listen to, you know, kind of how I, you know, give them advice. So I said a lot, Roger. I'll talk about the videos, but what are your thoughts on that?
No, actually, Tunnel Runner has come up. So no, I think your list was good because, see, I never talked to Kev about his list when I told y'all that I researched what me and actually wanted. There's gonna be 3 major issues, and that's good character, good company, and loyalty. Now he just said with his own thing, and that fits into what I told y'all. Men want these 3 basic things, and then we're gonna add more to it. I'm not telling nobody that this is the only 3 things men want, but without those 3, you can't have anything worth having, and that's just real talk. And I think you just kind of proved that, or helped to prove it. I say that since you're just one guy, you definitely helped to prove that. You know, there's certain things that you got to have when it comes to a wife. But Tunnel Runner has actually come up, so I'm gonna go ahead and give him the floor. Tunnel Runner, you got the floor, brother.
Okay, how you doing, brothers? Am I coming in clear?
Yes, sir. Doing great.
Okay, well, yeah, Roger. I just wanted to say you were saying something about diamond rings. According to the Farmernac, a wife shouldn't get no diamonds until she do 75 years of marriage. 50 years she gets something gold. 25 years she gets something silver. For 1 year of marriage she gets something for paper, something that's made out of paper. So I think we should go back to the old school and don't get no diamonds until you're married to your wife for 75 years of hard service and labor.
Well,
I'll land right there.
Say that you gonna take that diamond anniversary literally. Hey man, my thing is that works for me. Whatever you do with your wife sounds fine to me. That's the way I look at it. You know, whatever you want to do with your wife sounds fine to me. But the thing is, you know, in order to have a wife that's gonna actually be there 75 years later, we got to tell women what we require her to bring to the table. Now the thing is, every woman you come across won't necessarily be comfortable with your requirements. So it's cool to just leave her where she at. And that's something black men really need to start really getting a grasp on. It's okay to leave her where she at. Okay? It's okay to leave her where she at. Now I'm gonna say there's somebody in the chat. The gentleman that came yesterday, he's in the chat and he making some stupid statements right now. And I'm only saying stupid because you're saying stuff that wasn't even said. So you have an issue with your own idea. Now you are still welcome to join the panel. Just don't get put off this time, brother. Just don't get put off. You're welcome to join the panel. But I'm only saying this because I see you said something about, so you don't want a woman to challenge you. Nobody ever talked about that. And I'm saying it's stupid because, yeah, why would I want a woman to come challenge me? You think I go around looking for people in society to challenge me? You think I want a job where my boss is going to challenge me? You think I want an employee that's going to challenge me? Do you think I want a person driving in traffic who wants to challenge me? What are you talking like this? That's a nonsense idea. Nobody looks for people to challenge them in regular, normal life. Now, I understand a challenge in sports. This person is good at this particular thing. It's a challenge for me to beat this person because we're not on the same team. If you want somebody to be your wife, you should be looking for someone to be on your team, not somebody else's team. So you're not making any level of sense, brother. You know, that's all I'm saying. You're not making sense.
Well,
Why would I go
Roger,
look for a woman to be against me?
I'm almost scared to ask him to come up because it was kind of hard for. And this is no shade to him, but I was listening yesterday and I just kept quiet because I was trying to follow him, and it was kind of hard to follow some of his statements. But I would love to hear his explanation. But I'm going to assume I'm gonna presume that what he means by challenge is motivate, right?
You clean it up for him, man. You gonna clean it up for him.
Do you want a woman to motivate you to be a better man, to be a better person, to be a better human being? Yes, that can be the challenge, right? That's the challenge that you accept when you say, "I want to marry you. I want to create life with you, kids with you. Develop a family and community and all this other stuff with you." That's the challenge, right? That's the challenge. I'm assuming that he means.
Yeah, we both
But
know he wasn't talking about that, but
But as
that's
far as
nice.
arguing against you, no, absolutely not. You're not going to marry a woman who's going to be arguing, fussing, and fighting and refuting anything and everything you're trying to do for her and the family the whole damn time you're married. No.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna say this. He did come backstage. Now I'm gonna tell you this right now. Look, brother, you didn't make the greatest first impression yesterday. I'm just keeping it real with you. You didn't make the greatest first impression yesterday. Be relaxed and be able to have a conversation about the subject at hand. Anything else, you're gonna be kicked off immediately because I gotta protect my audience, man. I gotta protect my audience. And we don't like nonsense over here. We like intelligent conversation that can be helpful to the masses. If you cannot participate in that, then I'm gonna put you out of me. And I don't really throw people out, but you did get pulled yesterday. And I'm just saying, man, try not to get pulled, man. Try not to get pulled. Stay on topic, talk intelligently, be able to articulate whatever point that you want to make. But understand, we're talking about what you require women to bring to the table. Okay? Now I'm gonna let them up and we'll give them 4-5 minutes to see what happens. Okay. All right. All right. He's back. Brent, you have the floor. Go ahead.
What's up, Roger? What's up, everybody on the panel?
How you doing, brother?
All right. Hey, yesterday, man, I really apologize, man. You know how I spoke, man. You know, that's not how I really get down. I don't disrespect men like that. And if I do, it's one-on-one. It's not over a phone. So you got to excuse me with that. Please, brother. Forgive me for that. All right.
Brother, you back up. You back up here. So, obviously I'm not holding no hard feelings on it. So it's because you back.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've already moved on, man. You're welcome, bro. You just come on and do your thing, bro. We've already moved on.
Yeah, man. Like I want a woman that can challenge my mind, my spirit, and, my work. Not challenge my authority. Not that. When I say, babe, don't do that, she says, why? Why not? That's a challenge that I don't want. Okay. Now, in order for that woman to not challenge me, she has to know that I'm the truth. So if I ever slip off my square, her being my equal, okay, I want her to pull me up on my error. I want her to check me on my wrongdoing because I ain't perfect as a man. I'm still learning too. The thing is, when you have a wife, the goal is you become one flesh. You become one union. You know, like I've had women in the past that's not my wife, and once I have sex with them and I have their respect, you know, that woman mimics that man. She starts to think like me. She starts to have my attributes, my ways. She starts to act like me in ways, like she becomes me. Like, and it's something to see, man. Like it's like it's ill. This is why sex is so important and so mystical as well, because when that sperm mix, she becomes you, and you might, if you're not secure in your masculinity, and if you're not at where you need to be as a man, you might take on some feminine attributes from her. If you're not secure with your spirit and your soul. Okay. And so that's what I mean by about I want a woman to challenge me. I don't want no woman to shut up and you speak when I speak to you and you do what I say. I don't want no woman that's like that.
Oh, okay.
Because it ain't fear, because it ain't love. It's most fear.
Hold on. You going down a diatribe of something we ain't even talking about. Okay. We're talking about what do you require a woman to bring to the table. Okay, so now we heard you what you said, what you meant by challenge. Okay, cool. We get what you said, what you were saying, but we are talking about what you require women to bring to the table. At the end of the day,
okay, you want me to? Okay, I can talk about that.
I'm saying at the end of the day, a man has to have requirements for women, and the reason that relationships usually don't work out is because men have not made their requirements known. You want a certain thing, the woman ain't giving you what you want, but you didn't ever tell her what you wanted. So
yep, okay, I got you.
Okay, well, I got it, but hold on, just hold on. Because I'm talking for the audience sake, not necessarily just for you. I'm saying the reason we as men have some issues with women, a lot of us just haven't told them what we actually want them to bring to the table. You know, and at the end of the day, you know, you are supposed to be coming together as a unit that operates with each other the right way. How can you operate properly with a person that you do not tell what you want? So you got to have your list, and you got to be ready to tell her what it is that she got to do. Like I was saying, y'all, I tell women I'm gonna want sex every day. Now there are some women who know they ain't gonna do that every day. So what I would tell them, so if they say, well, you know what, that's just not my forte, I can't see myself getting along that way, you know, I already know this just ain't the one. It's nothing personal. She just not into it like I'm into it. So
yeah, that's cool. You woman and you
match up.
That's all right.
Now, and then even I think H. Rebels mentioned intelligence level. Let's keep it real, y'all. You guys, there's people out there, literally rocket scientists out there. They may want somebody with an above average intelligence as a woman. If the man is a rocket scientist and you just a regular chick, from an intelligence standpoint, it may not be a good match. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. He just happens to be a rocket science. You know, the same way you may, as a man, you may be regular dude, but you may meet a female and she happens to be a rocket scientist. I'm pretty sure there's a female rocket scientist out there somewhere. So you happen to meet a female who's a rocket scientist. So her brain is just used to moving a lot faster than yours because of what she does for a living. Y'all may not match up well. So the thing is, you got to make sure the stuff makes sense at the end of the day if you're planning a relationship that's actually going to last. Because keep in mind, a marriage is something you do for decades. So you have to approach it as something that you got to approach it as something that's going to be good for decades at a time. If you're not planning for decades, you're not planning a marriage, even if you think you are. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay, what does the woman have to bring to the table with me? She don't have to bring anything except her undivided attention. That's all I want, because I have everything I need. I'm a man. food, clothing, shelter, money, self-knowledge, knowledge of self, morals, respect. I'm the man. I have all that to give. She receives. I give. They receive. She only needs to bring her body and her undivided attention. That's it. I will handle the rest. And when she brings those two things, respect will come if she do give me her undivided attention and her body. That's it. She don't need to bring no money. She don't need to bring no knowledge, no wisdom, understanding. She don't even need to bring no sex. You see, I want the woman's mind before I get her body. I want her brain. I want her mind first. Once I have that, the body is miscellaneous activities. I mean, sex is, a strong component in relationships, but if she's not with you mentally, she ain't gonna come. She will reach no climax. Therefore, henceforth, you will have no climax in life because she's not right mentally. That's where I'm at. Bring yourself and I will do the rest. That's what she got to bring. I'm a simple man, straight up. And I know my duty. I know women, vagina, they go in. I know that a man's penis sticks out. So we're meant to give and they're meant to receive. And that's just how it goes. The push and pull force of this earth. It's a push and pull force that rules this whole earth. And when you having sex, you working that force, the push and the pull. I mean, man, it's really deep when you think about it, man,
Interesting.
But I'm gonna leave it there. You do your thing. I'm done. Go on.
Interesting. What were you about to say something, H Rebels?
No. He's literal and figurative, and I'm just trying to follow him. But I'm getting the overall message, so I'm tracking. So
okay,
he got a point. But I do like the first point that he said, basically, because he drills it. He has he's got one basic umbrella, undivided attention. Okay, I can rock with that. And then he's got subcategories under that that main topic of undivided attention. And I do the same thing, but it sounds like if he gets that, then he can work with everything else. Okay, so that's good.
Right.
Which is cool. And the thing is, you got to be willing to tell women at the very beginning, I need your undivided attention and be dead serious and let her know that you're dead serious. See, I don't trip about what a man say he won't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trip about what a man say he won't. If he wants her undivided attention, then my thing is you tell her from Jump Street, because she can't say 3 weeks down the line, that she don't get it. Didn't I tell you right at the beginning that I need your undivided attention? So that's cool. Now, me, I don't necessarily need her undivided attention, but the thing is, I will trump everything else that goes on in her life other than God. Anything that ain't God, I trump. I trump your father. I trump your mother. I trump your relationships with your family. I trump your friends. I trump your own ego. Okay, I trump everything.
Yeah.
And if she can't accept that being explained to her, and I told her, because every woman cannot. There's a lot of women that I can't really do nothing with because I say stuff and I mean what I say. So when I tell them certain things, they actually think about it. They understand there's going to be some work involved. There's going to be some work. Now, I won't deal with a woman who won't work because I understand stuff has to happen in life. And I am not there just to make sure you don't have to do anything. That is not my job as a man. My job is to advance a family. Okay, if you're gonna be part of the family, you're gonna be designed to work in the family so the family can advance. Now, I don't mind you working outside the home or inside the home. Either one's fine, except when we have small children. I tell every woman, if we got small children, you're not even allowed to even talk about working outside the home because you're not gonna do that when the kids young. They get a little bit older, like everybody in school. then yeah, probably she can work outside the home. But if they're small children and they're not in school, no, we're not paying for people to raise our children for us. And I
And
know
that's
some
like,
people don't think about it that way, but that's how I think about it. I'm not turning my kids over to the daycare so the daycare can raise my children. No. I got a wife. She's going to raise the children. She's going to
and
put
hey,
what we agree with in the kids, not what the daycare people. And I'm not saying the daycare people don't have good intentions. They just not me and they not my wife. That's just it. Go ahead. You was saying something, H Rebels. Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say that actually, that right there, that requirement right alone alleviates a lot of problems because you hear a lot of women complain that they're working too hard and they're trying to take care of kids. Yeah, just especially in the early developmental stage and that toddler stage, and until they start really going to school on a regular basis, and you get some free time during the day where you can maybe work part time. You don't even have to go full time. You can work part time while they're doing something else, and if you got to move away from that for a little bit to kind of deal with the kids, that's even better. Because you hear a lot of complaints from women about I'm just doing too much. Okay, yeah, because you're trying to be a full-time employee and a mother. How about just not doing that? Just pick one, and it makes more sense to be more of a mother, so you can develop the kids earlier in the way you want them to go. You and your husband work that out, and you both are working together towards that end until you get to the point where you don't really have to do that as much. Now, interestingly enough, kids do need you more as they get older, believe it or not. People kind of have this thing as kids get older and they can do stuff for themselves. They need the parents less. They actually need more guidance the older they get. Interesting. So all of that being said, but they don't need like 100% hardcore, supervision the way they do when they're babies and toddlers and even little kids. So that's a good way to do it. And then the other thing too is, and you guys kind of were speaking of this. One of the main things as far as the agreement is basically compatibility. When you're compatible with somebody, what happens is, that should be one of your requirements, which is compatibility. I think I said character. I meant to say compatibility, right? But compatibility actually allows for both you and the woman that you're dealing with, that you're trying to build a relationship with, that you're eventually going to build a marriage with and a life with, to be in agreement on all of the major life issues. How many kids you're going to have, how you're going to raise those kids, where you're going to reside, your religion, how you want the household to go, your 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 15-year. Like, if you're compatible with in all of those areas, then that's going to make it easier for the relationship to actually develop the way it's supposed to. And then when you establish that right from the beginning, and I'll say this thing and pass it on to somebody else, because you have people, it's very interesting. A woman will be in a relationship with somebody for 6 months, and then she'll say, "Well, I'm not even sure we're in a relationship. I don't know what this is." And then and instead of just right from the beginning, saying, "Hey, look, this is what," because men, we're not these great deceptive actors. We just tell you this is what it's going to be from the beginning. We're either here to build a relationship to marry you, or we're here to play with you. And if you want to play, we'll play. But if you want to be serious, we'll be serious too. But you got to develop that and establish those ground rules right from the beginning, so that way 12 months down the road, the woman is not confused about it. And
I
that's
think he
where,
was just saying
if
that.
I would critique women, that's where they mess up a lot. They don't actually establish any requirements for the men. But anyway, I'll go ahead and leave it at that.
Tom
Raj,
Ryder, go ahead and say what you were about to say.
I think he was saying that you want a woman on your program. I mean, when we say you want a woman on your program, you set a program that you want your wife to follow, and she has to fit that program. Whatever you want her to do, whatever your demands you have, she has to fill those demands to be suitable for them to marry you. So he's setting up a program that he wants he wants the attention, undivided attention. That's his program. Is she going to get on it? That's what you do when you're courting a woman, or when you're getting ready to get a woman. You
That's
court her.
right.
Is she going to be on your program? And if she's not on your
Right.
program, you got to keep on moving till you find one who's on your program.
Now I'm gonna say, because we got another guest who done came up. I'm gonna say real talk, y'all. See, these things are important, and I'm just gonna use the term program because I've heard many men say program. You need a woman that's on your program. How's she gonna get on your program if you never told her what the program was? Because this is something men really need to take seriously. We don't want to tell the woman the program because we're afraid of her reaction to
That's
what the
right.
program is.
Speak up.
She
That's right.
doesn't matter. That's what men need to understand. She's just some woman. And I know
That's
women,
it.
there are some women who don't like it when I say that. She's just a woman. She's just some chick. She don't matter till you say she matters. And if I tell you what my program is and you don't like my program, you're just never going to get to the point where you matter to me. I don't care what your response is. You're nothing in my world. Okay. I'm trying to see if you have the ability to be something in my world. Everybody is not something in everybody else's world. You know, a random chick that I do not know is not something in my world. Okay. I'm trying to see if you have the potential to become something in my world. So if you give me an answer I don't care, because you're not going to be here next week anyway. That's just like where. But if you scared to tell a woman what you want, you'll be in there for 6 months, 7 months. Heck, you might be in there for 6 years, and then figure out this just ain't never gonna work. But since black men don't break up with women, that's gonna be a major problem. And my thing is, we got to take all this stuff in consideration, because we know for sure black men, from a general standpoint, do not break up with a woman. So if you waiting too long to tell her what your program is, how you expect it to ever work? But let me get the floor to No Brookies. He has come up. You have the floor, my brother. Go ahead.
Thank you. No Brookies. No Brookies
Oh,
here. So
no
thank you.
Brookies. Is that what that is? My bad.
Yeah,
My bad. No.
we don't date broke women over here. We don't date them. We don't marry them. So I think this is a very, very important topic, and this is where I'm going to get a lot of pushback, but I got to say it. When it comes to community, and what do you require of her to bring to the table? There has to be, if black men are the culture, there has to be universal standards, right? There has to be a social norm. Because when you go to Arab countries, of course, every man is different, but there's the basics that every marriageable Muslim woman comes to the table with, right? And then the mothers and the family talks, right? When you look at Asia, Chinese girls, right? There's a standard that all Chinese girls come when they're meeting the family when it's talking about marriage. And so when we talk about black men don't say the program, one of the things is that we need to be unified in that message. Now, what I might require might be different from what y'all require, but there has to be at least 5 basic things that she comes to the table with. Just like when you're applying to college, whether you're applying to Harvard or whether you're applying to the worst college in the country, everyone must take the SATs or the ACTs. That is the standard. You must come with that score. And so when we're talking about what we bring to what she requires to bring to the table, we got to have that kind of standard message. And then from there, you can talk about your program and things like that. Because otherwise, it's just going to be confusion, because the good women that do come, well, I don't know what the standard is. You see what I'm saying? Because black men haven't voiced that standard. And to voice that standard, sometimes you're going to have to walk away from some coochie. And that's going to be the challenge for black men. Because black men don't really like walking away from coochie. We don't like you said, we don't like breaking up with women. But these things are necessary in order to start getting the women that we want. And also, it helps women to understand, okay, when you date, because everybody, even when you're Muslims, right? Even when you're a Muslim, I know what Muslim men want when they're looking for marriage, and I'm not even Muslim, right? Everybody here has an idea about that. Why? Because there's a standard unified communication about that. And what black men are missing, somebody got like background noise or something like that, I don't know. But what black men are missing is that kind of standard, right? That kind of standard, because when you talk about Muslim men, everybody in here will have an idea what a Muslim man accepts as a marriageable woman. And we're not Muslim. We're not a part of that community or anything like that. And that's where it has to start, and then we grow up from there, because then we can hold women accountable, all women accountable, and there we can also, then we can also, it's just easier to communicate my plan from there on. Okay, you have the 5 basics. That's culturally acceptable. That's the cultural norms. Then from that 5 basics, we can move on to our game plan. So, and I'll rest there for right now.
You know what? That's a good point. And I'm gonna say, see, that's when I tell y'all the 3 things that you need to have. That's because I went looking for what men want. I went all over, I talked to men, and I went on social media to hear what men were saying that they wanted. That's where the loyalty, good character, and good company comes from. This is a standard thing amongst men in general. And it makes sense because if you remove any one of those, it falls apart at the end of the day, So I think that, I'm presenting that as that is the standard that we want, and we shouldn't take anything but that. And then we have to also change our habits so we don't give mixed signals, which is why I tell men you should not be dating a woman that you take no interest in marrying. I'm not saying you're gonna meet her and you're gonna get married to her, but if you don't even see yourself as possibly marrying this woman, there is no reason to take her on a date. If all you want is sex, what you dating her for?
And see, that's and I agree with you 1,000%, because we say the message, but then as men, right? What do men do? They keep their word. So we got to live by that word, right? Because I agree with all the other stuff, right? Stuff you bring to the table, right? Or what's the, like, for example, what is a woman's role in the household, right? Like, for example, if people are fat in the household, that is her fault. If a like I tell men all the time, right? If we can take a girl from the gas station and expect to uplift her life financially, then she should be able to take the male version of Lizzo and get him right. Right? The diabetes, heart attack in the black community is one. And I'm being serious about this. I'm not even joking. Diabetes, heart attacks, all kind of health is 100% women's fault, because the first hospital is the goddamn kitchen. Apologize for the cussing, but so this is the standard. This is the standard, because back in the day, people weren't dying from this stuff and that. Why? Because mama was cooking, right? She making sure that you're eating healthy. Soda was a privilege, not the standard, right? So hey, you need to be eating a certain kind of way, because how you eat is how my children are going to eat, right? And if I have a little girl and you're doing McDonald's, even if you're genetically slim, my little girl's going to be at McDonald's, and now she's Lizzo. Now she's on 5th Street sucking dick because nobody wants to do with her fat ass.
Hey, that's as real as it gets. That's as real as it gets. And
Roger,
this is
Roger.
Go ahead.
One thing. I just wanted to say, in Colombia, the men expect their wife, I don't care if she's a lawyer, doctor, they expect her still to cook, to clean, and to have his children. Those things are demanded for her to cook, clean, and have. Even if she's the vice president, her job as a woman is to cook and clean, and have his children, and take care of his children.
Well, the thing is, different countries you're gonna have people with different standards. My issue is that black men, we don't present a standard to women, and we wonder why they act so crazy and act for so much stupid stuff, because we don't present standards to them, and that's our fault that we haven't presented a standard. It's their fault for how they act, but it's our fault for what we do or don't present. And at the end of the day, I have shocked a lot of women. I've said before, I shock women, but just by telling them, they be like, well, we started talking. People gonna ask, do you got kids? I'm like, no, I ain't got no kids. And they say, well, why come you ain't got no kids? Because I'm not married. Like, and I'm saying this, like, what's wrong with you? What? That's a retarded question. Why are you asking me if I got kids and I ain't never been married? Now I got to examine.
I blame Chef Mike for that shit.
well, my thing is, I have to examine why you ask that question. Now I get it because of the society we live in. A lot of people don't take no thought process into marriage. But now I got to ask you, okay, so do you have kids? And did you have kids without being married? And why are you comfortable having kids without being married? Like, what's going on right there? Okay, because you had to be comfortable enough to do it. I don't buy into none of it. I understand women make these arguments, y'all. I don't buy into no argument about somebody got me pregnant. Now, ain't nobody got you pregnant. You jumped on that dick enough times to get pregnant, or jumped on multiple dicks enough times to get pregnant. Ain't nobody got you pregnant. So I don't buy into none of that stuff that women be talking about. I want to hear a real answer on if you did have a child before marriage. I want you to tell me a real reason why you did that. Because I need to know what you're comfortable with, you know. And you know what? Society works a little better. And I understand y'all. It's some men who y'all just gonna say, well, just don't date no single mother. I'm not telling you to date one. But if she say she is one, you should ask her why she became one. Until you send the message that it's a bad idea for them to be one, they'll continue to become one.
I agree. Because at the end of the day, messaging matters, and standards matters, right? Because back in the day, all Roman women, and there used to be a saying not back in the, but in ancient times, right? What is the duty of a good Roman woman, right? To birth children for Rome, right? You could ask any woman back in ancient times from Rome. You ask them what is the duty of a good Roman woman? She would say to birth children for Rome, obviously in wedlock, but things like that. Like, and I'm saying that to say this, right? We have really, as a society, we really have let women evade adulthood, if that makes sense. We've really, we just told women, okay, you don't have to be an adult anymore. You have zero responsibilities. You have zero commitments to your family, your immediate family. You have zero responsibilities to your communities. You have zero responsibility to anyone but yourself, right? Like, America has done a fantastic job for women to no longer to be adults, right? Because charities, education, food, health, right? These are all good metrics of a good woman. And your society has good women by the level of education of your children, by the health standards of the people, by the charity and empathy of your society.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is why you see okay, the black community lacking in these things, because the black women have they have failed on their job, right? As much as they want to say, well, black men can't lead, well, you know what, black women can't be good women, because when we look at the metrics of what women owe to society, it's also lacking. Childhood obesity, poor education for children, lack of empathy and helping one another.
Hey, no brokey. You know what? The question I asked to knocks out all these women in Atlanta. I asked them, "Can you cook?" And they would ask me, "Why you ask me do I cook?" Because I expect you to cook. And women don't even get that question. Nobody's even asking these guys are not even asking them, can they cook? Can they clean? Do they know how to take care of children? They're not even being presented with what the guys want from them to do, if they want them to do that. But they're not telling them. When I tell a girl, she'll be the first time a 29-year-old girl, do you cook? And she'll be like, why you asking me a yes or no, whatever the question is. But she hasn't been asked that question. A guy planning to marry her has not even asked her that question.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, not to cut you off, I apologize. But what I'm trying to say is that we need to have just as much as they demand, just as much as a man has responsibility to society, right? Like if you're a man is useless if he's no good to the community, right? We all understand that, right? That's how America treats all men, right? If you are
Right.
no good if you're no good to the community, you're not a man. Well, I would want us to have that same type of accountability to our women, right? If you are no good to children, if you're no good to community in the ways that you're supposed to be, then you're not a woman, right? Because again, it goes back to adulthood. Because the reason why she can't cook, the reason why she doesn't take care of herself well, is because society told her you no longer need to be an adult.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say real quick because Champ Carl for Life done came up, so I'm gonna give him the mic. It's our job to let them know what they supposed to do. Unfortunately, especially amongst black men, we've been raised that you ain't supposed to tell a woman nothing, and we scared of them. We ain't gonna tell them they got no requirements. We are literally scared of them. You'll fight a man, but when that woman walking around, you scared of her. It makes no actual sense, but that is our reality at the end of the day. That is our actual reality, and you can't get too far when you scared of her. Because she gonna do ridiculous things at a moment's notice. Because women do make a lot of moves out of emotion, so it's not gonna necessarily be a sensible thing. But if you a man and you won't take charge, so she won't get out of pocket, that's a problem you are allowing. And that, as men, we had to set our own standards at the end of the day. If the women can set the standard for you, well, you done already. You already cooked if the woman can set the standard. But I'm just going to say it like that. You already cooked if the woman can set the standard for you. But Champ Carl for Life, since you're here, you got the flow, my brother. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on? Happy Wednesday to all y'all brothers who are listening and everything else.
Salute.
Let me just say this. Everything that you all said is what men need and everything else. They need commitment, they need love, they need compassion and everything else. But what they also need though is that they need a ride or dier. Okay. This is not the 1950s or 1960s anymore. We're in a situation right now where when interest rates are just growing, the middle class is just shrinking and everything else. So what I'm looking for in a woman basically is that if she works at a Walmart store and everything else, she doesn't have to be a Halle Berry or Jennifer Lopez and all that type of stuff. But if she's just, working at a Walmart store or work at Amazon, Sam's Club or Costco, whatever, and everything else, you have to find a woman that's in your level and everything else, in my opinion. And you have to be able to find a woman who's a ride or dier, willing to do 50-50 with you and everything else. One of the reasons, and I'm sorry to say this to some of y'all black women up here who are listening right now, one of the reasons why black men are able to find white women is because, unfortunately, black women want a finishing product. They want a black man that makes $100,000 a year, which is, come on, that's a steep too high and everything else. That's the guy. Unless the black man is a NFL football player or basketball player, chances of that happening is 1%. And everything else. Whereas if a white woman sees a black man and everything else, she might be a little curious and everything else. You start talking and everything else. She looks for a man that, that can help build a relationship, build each other up and everything else, and end up becoming married and everything else. They go through some ups and downs, living in one bedroom or a 2-bedroom apartment and everything else. But then they're able to save each other. They're willing to split 50-50 on the cost and everything else. And then next, they move into a house and everything else. It's about $200,000 or $300,000 a year and everything else. That's what a man needs right now. They need somebody. They need a woman that's willing to do 50-50 with you and everything else, and not become a finishing product and everything.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm gonna say according to the numbers, because there is a point to Well, see, I'm gonna say this, y'all. Black women don't necessarily want a man who makes six figures. Because if you actually listen to them, they really want a guy who makes 7 to 8 figures. If you actually listen to stuff they say, six figures is something they just heard men saying and they just start repeating. Okay. Now, do they require a man who makes six figures? Absolutely not, because they date bums all the time. So they don't require you to make six figures. The thing is to make you worried about making six figures so you will give them slack. Okay. But at the end of the day, it's less than 10% of the country that makes six figures. That's just a
Right.
reality. It's less than
Right.
10% of the country. Okay. So, you could say, well, are you going to be able to, when it comes to black men, well, you're going to have like less than 10% of them that's going to make six figures, just from a general standpoint. So the thing is, women just don't want to take no risk. Life is a risk. Nobody is going to get life and then everything just going to go your way. I understand why people don't want to take a risk. It is natural to be an aversionist to risk. That's a natural thing.
Right.
But you got to take one if you're gonna have a life together. I can't just take no woman from anywhere. Maybe she come from Walmart, maybe she come from Yale. If for me to deal with her, I am taking a risk. If I'm taking a risk, you're gonna have to take one too. It just is what it is on that note.
But
You know?
I want to dispel the economics. So when we look at history, right? When we look at history, when we look at the barter and trade system, women worked, right? They actually like picked and gathered the vegetables and they took it to the wet market and then they barter and trade, right? Because actually picking vegetables was classified as women's work. Today you can go to like places like Kenya to the coffee bean farms, right? And you'll see the women picking the coffee beans, drying it out and stuff like that. Again, that's classified as women's work. Nursing, teachers, this is classified as women's work. Now these positions and professions has been around for hundreds upon hundreds of years. So when women say that the only way I can be in my femininity is if I don't work, well, there's positions that has been here since the establishment of society, whether you want to believe it was Egypt or Mesopotamia, that was classified as female work. So what you're asking for, hold on one second. So what you're asking for, what we're talking about is supporting brokies, aka leeches. Because women, that I mean that's the whole purpose of marriage. Marriage was to bring together two incomes. So when they say, oh, when you work and she work, it's when you work, it's y'all income, and then her money is her money. That's a leech, that's a parasite. And again, we have to talk about that standard as well, like what Roger talks about. Like, you gotta bring me your check. But at the end of the day, we work and we share our money and we share our money and we bring it together. I mean, that's even how the American, that's how America even classify household, right? Dual income, right? So, so at the end of the day, we have to we have to like dispel these kind of rumors that like a woman who doesn't work is feminine, and if she has to work, she's automatically masculine. Well, women were in the 1820s. Women were teachers, right? So were they masculine? Women are and were nurses. So what are we talking about, people?
Yeah. Yeah, your job has nothing to do whether you're masculine or feminine.
Yeah, yeah. You know
Exactly.
what they're saying is that my mother screwed me up so bad as a child that now now I'm mentally gay.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. Women, women were not. There were nurses. There were teachers. There were service people and everything else. They didn't
Yeah,
necessarily go to war, but they were serving in the military, working. Trying to help the wounded soldiers and everything else. They were
you
commit.
cannot look at it. You can, if we're being honest, you cannot point at any point in time anywhere in the world where women did not have work.
Yeah, working is a human thing. The
Right.
only question is where you're going to work. Because you're going to work in the house or you're going to work out the house. And that's only because of technology and things that have been invented over time that women can actually be in the house and be housewives like that without, doing
Yeah, but
back-breaking work.
but even then, even back then. So let's talk about the frontier, right? Homesteading. When you were homesteading, women would cut up, pickle stuff, pick and pack from the farm that you had, then take it to the general store to sell it. Everybody worked the land. Like niggas was out there tilling, digging up. They did the backbreaking work, but the women still came and picked the
No,
vegetables and stuff like that to
no,
go to the wet market.
no, I'm not disregarding that. What I'm saying is the reason that we even have it where women can be
Oh yeah,
housewives,
yeah.
and not kill themselves and be a housewife is because of technology. We have
Yes, yes.
invented some things to make being a housewife a little bit easier, but even being a housewife back in the day, y'all know a lot of people don't take into account you was a housewife with no washing machine.
Mm-hmm.
The clothes had to be washed though.
But
I know.
and I want to push back on that as well because like very few people, even like if we're talking like the 1950s, right? The Americana, like pristine Americana, very few people were housewives. We're talking upper middle class. White suburbia, most like the Leave It to Beavers and shit, that was the 1%. That was TV. Most everyday people, the women were nurses and teachers.
Absolutely. Everybody worked. You have to work as a human being.
Yeah, you had
Adam,
like why those white men were in the coal mines, like picking up coal and stuff like that. She was either a tutor, a teacher, or a nurse.
Yeah,
my
right. Listen, right? There's an order that's to life. It's an order. Now, once this is out of order, disorder rules the day. The order is God, man, woman, child. Man submits to God, woman submits to man, child submits to the mother. Okay? The mother is the child's first teacher. That message the mother gives to the child gives to the whole world, whether it's negative or positive. So, whenever a child is born, a nation is born. This is what my teacher taught me, that in that womb is a nation, okay? And however that woman is formed mentally, spiritually, that child will be a product of that. Now, what we dealing with today is disorder. Mothers didn't teach the sons. Fathers didn't teach their wives. And nobody looks towards God for guidance. So we're all confused, all of us. None of us know our position in life. We don't really know. We just know, men know that we're here to serve. I was told before knowledge was granted to me that I'm just a consumer. I'm just here to work, sex, and eat and sleep. But that's not my purpose. My purpose is to raise a nation through the womb of my woman.
well, there is one thing that you left out, even as you said that, because
Once
you said
we get,
the woman,
hold on, just
woman's
let
going
me
to teach.
finish, brother. All right. Go ahead, Roger. Do your
No,
thing.
I'm saying the woman is supposed to teach the child, but the woman should get something to teach the child. That's supposed to come from the
That's
man.
that's what I'm saying.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying this
All right.
specific because you didn't state that part. And my thing is that message is supposed to come from the man. She's supposed to be with a man.
Yes. The man has to be in order. He has to be in order. Nothing goes right unless this man is not in order. Even if he acts like he's in order, the sperm that he injects in her is disorder.
No.
And so that offspring will be in
brother.
disorder.
No, what I'm saying to you is you made a statement about the woman's going to be a teacher. While you made that statement, you didn't say where the message was come from. The woman should have a message that comes from her husband, who's supposed to be her leader. That's a
Yes.
very important piece that you
Yes.
just left out. That's all I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yeah. I
But
know. I know it's important.
No, I'm just trying to make sure that was clarified. But let me let No Brokey say what he was saying. I just wanted to add to what you're
But
saying about
you
that
didn't
has
check
to be there.
me. But I didn't have I didn't say nothing wrong in my statement.
I didn't
You
say
just
you
looking
said
for
anything
shit.
wrong. I said you left out the fact that the message she's going to teach, because she's
I
going
didn't
to teach
leave
the people.
nothing out, Roger. That's the thing. That was something that was on your mind that I didn't say that wasn't on my mind. Brother, I know what I said.
Okay,
I know what I said. But go ahead, man.
I didn't say you said
No, you
something
gotta
wrong.
pick somebody apart. You just let this man talk.
Bro, I didn't say you said what I said. I said what's left out is the message she gives her child should come from the father. Because the father is the leader of her life. If there's no father that this child is by, she's already wrong, and she's creating chaos at that particular point.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right. You're right.
Wait, please wait. Chef Mike, please come to the principal office. Chef Mike, please come to the motherfucking principal office. Terrell Bentley, get your boy, man. See, this is why niggas in the suburbs, man. Niggas in the wilderness don't do it. Terrell Bentley.
Here come the giggles. Here come the giggles again.
Hey, stop, y'all.
That's crazy.
We got somebody named Leonard who wants to join. But Leonard has been here before. It was a long time ago I did something with Leonard join. Leonard, turn your camera off, number one. You can come up, but turn your camera off, Leonard. And we'll let you up in a moment. But turn your camera off, okay?
Chef Mike, you want it at the principal's office for real.
Well, I mean, it's a whole pit crew down there. So, it's Chef Mike, then you got Mr. Suge to you, J Dub down there.
Look, I don't know what the pig was doing right now, but niggas, come on, wake up.
Okay.
Come on.
All right, we gonna let
now.
Yeah,
I'm pink now, huh?
Yeah, hold on.
That's how you gonna carry me?
Hey, stop. I'm finna let Leonard up. And
hey man, you better watch your mouth, my man. You better watch your motherfucking mouth.
Brent, who you talking to?
I'm talking whoever the fuck called me pink. That's who I'm talking to.
Brent, stop. You don't have that type of pull. Chill. I asked you to be quiet a while
ago. I got that pull in my world. This ain't nothing but a goddamn podcast, man. Recognize you only got 1,000
followers. This ain't your world,
man.
This ain't your world. So I told you to chill, so chill.
No, nobody called you pink. Nobody said
no. He think that because he was talking. If he'd have been quiet like he was supposed to, he wouldn't think nobody said nothing to him. The problem is he's talking when he's supposed to be quiet. This is a broadcast. It's not a place for Brent just to get his rocks off. Okay, this is a broadcast. Now I got Shark Sims who ain't made an opening statement. I'm telling people to shut up so he can talk. That's the point. Everybody shut up so Shark can talk.
They got me outside ringing. They got me outside ringing the doorbell, and y'all in the kitchen arguing.
That's what I'm saying, Shark. You got it, my brother. You got it. Go ahead.
But to keep it funky, what Brett said was he gave it in order, and the man gets the God is first, and man gets his lessons from God, and the woman gets her lessons from man, and the children get their lessons from the mom. So eventually the lessons from the mom going to the child is from the father anyway. But Roger was just trying to specify and make that more clearer. What I really wanted to say was everybody on the panel, y'all definitely getting busy. And this is something that we should give to the young dudes that's coming after us. Like what No Brokey was saying about different cultures, they have a baseline of what a wife is. In African American community, like Jado once said, we don't have no code. Therefore, we're not going to have a baseline for what a wife is. One dude might think a wife is just somebody that's sexy, that just look good and got a nice body, but everybody else, every other culture, they have a real baseline. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the job thing, No Brokey was absolutely correct. There's jobs that females can have that will keep them in their feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? The nurse, that's a nurturer at all times. A teacher, that's a nurturer at all times. Gardening, that's nurturing at all times. That parasite comment was absolutely correct. Black men have been gaslit into thinking that a female not doing anything is her being in her femininity. And even when the female is not doing anything, she's going to go far from her femininity. And black men, I always say, like, we the softest strawberries in the batch, because we the only ones that let everything get over our head. But we'll curse each other out. But when it comes to a female, we never put them in line. And this is why what Jones said is absolutely correct. We just in total disorder. You know what I mean? You got the sun, moon, and the stars. Right now, we got the stars, moon, and the sun, and it ain't never gonna get right if it's like that. So we definitely got to start telling these women, hey, you always gonna get some sex. So don't be scared to tell a female something in regards of you not getting sex from her. You just gonna set her straight for the next guy, and there's other sex for you to get, but having a disordered female walking around, that'll mess up the whole garden. And I'll close my opening statement with that.
Okay, now we got Leonard has joined us again, so I'm gonna give him the floor. Leonard, you got it, brother.
Okay, I kind of popped in when I heard the washing machine thing, and I was just like, talking about somebody said back in the day. I'm like, back in what day? I mean, I'm like, who on here?
That was me, and I did say back in the day, because we were talking about women working at home.
Right.
I said
But
there's a huge difference because of modern technology, because back in the day, there was no washing machine invented.
Okay.
So we're talking about, I said technology. Pre-technology, working in the home was a whole lot more difficult than it is now.
Okay, so you're talking about the 1800s.
I said pre-technology. When there was no washing machine to go to. There was no refrigerator to go to. Before all this technological stuff, women's job at home was a lot tougher. Yes.
Brother, what I'm saying is that was in the 1800s.
Brother, I get that. I'm saying, what difference does it make when it was?
The
point was pre-technology, working in the house was a whole lot harder than it is now.
Okay, we understand all that, bro. That's just like,
I just don't think you do.
No, that's understood.
Is
I'm
it?
like,
because if it's understood, why are you bringing it up?
Because I don't know of anyone who, they came from a 2-parent home whose mother did not have a washing machine in the basement.
Means you didn't understand what I said, because I'm talking about how the difference
I understand
was between pre-technology versus technology. Things change. If that's understood, why are you bringing it up?
I'm bringing it up because I'm putting the time factor together with everything, bruh.
Sweet cheese, Terrell, this is your fault. Terrell, this is your fault. Terrell, get your people.
That's all I'm saying. A time.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Now,
make whatever point you want to make.
The standards with black marriage and everything. At one time, there was a baseline standard. Like when I was born, there was a baseline standard. If somebody got pregnant out here in the street, there's only 2 things that happened. Either it was a shotgun wedding, or the family moved out the neighborhood out of shame.
All right.
That's how it used to be.
Okay.
That ended in the 70s,
Okay.
And
this is what I'm gonna do. Hold fast, because you don't even know the subject of the show. I'm gonna get a flow to Maggie. Go read the title of the show. Now, if you want to talk about what we're talking about, I'm cool to have you here, but you don't know what's going on. And that you done made that clear to me already. And that's why I'm a little annoyed. When y'all come to the panel, know what's going on, man. Know what the show was about. Be ready to talk about the subject of that particular day. Don't just hear somebody make a statement and then you want to do something about some random statement that somebody made. That ain't what this is for.
The title of the show is "What Do You Bring to the Table?" Right?
I just told you, be quiet. Listen, read the title of the show. I'm gonna give the floor to Maggie. I'm trying to let you catch up to what's going on so you can sound like you belong here. But right now it's time to be quiet, read the title of the show so you understand what we're talking about in the first place, And then I was gonna get the flow back to you. The only thing you're gonna do other than that at this point is just make me not give you the flow at all. So just be quiet, go read the title of the show, and let Maggie speak. Maggie, you have the floor.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, here you fine.
Okay. First of all, the very first thing I want to say is that all women should be thanking you for this conversation because so many women talk about how, well, he didn't tell me this and he acted like he wanted to be together and he was saying this and he told me he loved me and blah, blah, blah. And so if it's talked about ahead of time, there's no questions. Then whatever you get into is what you get into. So women cannot complain about that anymore. But the second thing I wanted to talk about was when I heard that gentleman say that a man or a woman shouldn't bring anything but her coochie and her attention because she should just be receiving. There are so many women who talk about they are in their receiving era. You know, I am here to receive. A woman is just supposed to receive. That is not what femininity is in the slightest. Women multiply whatever they are given. If they are given seed, they multiply the cell and make a baby. If they are given a house, they nest the house and make a home. If they are given food, they multiply that and create a meal. Women multiply what they have been given. This is why they are often referred to as muses because they multiply what they are given and then they make a man want to be better, get more, do these things. But the opposite happens a lot. So if you're in your receiving era, you're giving nothing back to that man. So he's just going to figure everything out on his own. And if it doesn't include you, well, you have nobody to complain to except yourself. But a woman can also multiply things in a negative way. So just from a woman's perspective, my suggestion would be when you are looking at the standards that you want from a woman, just think about how she's going to multiply what you give. If she's a slob, then when she nests your house, it's going to be chaos. If she is quick to anger, then when she multiplies your emotions, she's going to turn it back on you. What you want from a woman is somebody who is kind and considerate and loving and merciful and giving and organized and has a good aesthetic. And I'm not just talking about how she looks. Somebody who does take care of her body, that does make healthy food that tastes delicious, because however she cares for herself is the way that she will multiply what you give her that she can give back to you. Then you give more back to her, and then she multiplies it again. And then she is a muse for your life. So that's just my suggestion. Don't ever get with a woman who is in her receiving era. That is a terrible place to be.
Well, I'm gonna say well said, and I'm just gonna give people room if they don't want that much because I have accepted that you know different people don't want as much out of life. You know, what I'm saying? It just is what it is. I've accepted that. I've accepted that, and I'm not gonna judge nobody because they don't want as much as somebody else. Because I don't want as much as maybe the next guy. You know, so it is what it is. But I think that was I think that was well said, and people should take heed to that. I do believe men should think about that. Whatever she's doing, she's gonna multiply it. So if there's chaos, expect multiplied chaos. If there's order, expect multiplied order. It's just what you
Yeah,
want at the end of the day. You know.
yeah. Thank you,
Right.
Maggie. That definitely
Thank
was
you.
well said. And when you say coochie, I think that really drove home the point.
Well said. Well
Yeah,
said,
well said,
Maggie.
Maggie.
Well said, Maggie. I'm glad you
Okay.
said that because we truly believe in that as well. And as I said earlier, I also think there should be because of where we are right now in this situation. I also think there should be a 50-50 in everything else where we can help, where the man and woman can help build each other up and get to that area where they can live comfortably and everything else and retire with their money and everything else, with their wealth and everything else, and with their health in order.
All right. Now,
Absolutely. Well, thank you for letting me come up. I'm going to go ahead and drop back down.
anytime, Maggie, anytime. We always appreciate you gracing us with your presence. Okay, we always appreciate
And please tell the glitter girls that Hassel said hello.
you.
I will do that.
All right. Now let's give it back to Leonard. Leonard, did you read the title of the show to see what the show is about? Because I'm going to give
Yeah,
you the floor.
I
Okay.
read it. I read it from the get-go gate. You didn't allow me to tell you the title.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But go ahead, make a good opening statement. You got the flow, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Now is what do you, in reference if it was me, require her to bring to the table? Right?
Yep.
Here's my criteria. Okay. You have to not be over 165 pounds, at least 5'6" or taller. You must have a FICO score of 750 or above.
Wow.
You
Hmm.
must have a career that comes with a pension.
Damn. She's a man.
No, ain't no she's a
Not
man.
hey, y'all.
Oh,
This
yeah, I'm
is
sorry.
this,
I thought I was
hey,
on mute.
this
I'm
is his
sorry. I thought
opening
I was on
statement.
mute.
Let him make his opening statement without interruption. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Leonard.
Now, and that because in the economy, the way it is today, sure, some people they can support a woman fully, have a stay-at-home wife. I had one, okay, stay-at-home wife. She didn't have to do anything but watch those silly reality shows and not get on my nerves. But she couldn't do that right, so I had to divorce her. No, I divorced her. She didn't divorce me. I don't have a lot of patience for foolishness. And that's if you're bringing that to the table, then we could rock out and you know try to go forward because I look at it as a business decision, okay, not ooh I love you, I love me. Okay, that's good when you're young because that's all you have to balance the scale with. But when you get older, you have other things, and above all else, you are not going to have any doggone derelict adult children that just can't seem to figure out life. If that's the case, you remain in your home. You're not going to come into mine. Okay. Too many adults in one home doesn't work. So that's my requirements.
Okay, that's a decent set of requirements, and as an older man, that makes sense because y'all, for the listeners, things will change a little bit as age comes into the picture. What a 20-year-old should be looking for ain't necessarily what a 40-year-old should be looking for. And if you
Thank you.
unfortunately got to get married again at 60, stuff should have changed a little bit. There's some base stuff, but then there's things that will change over time. Because
Hmm.
real talk, um, if you've already lived a certain part of your life and you've already had kids, because I hear a lot of folks say this, people who already got kids and kids are even close to grown, like I'm gonna say 15ish, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
They 15. Some of them people don't want to mess with somebody and have babies again because they like, well, I already, I'm not really trying to do this again, and
Yeah, bro.
that
Yeah,
that
bro.
gonna make a difference to folks.
You read my mind because it was there was a young lady. I'm not going to say her name. There was a young lady. I used to flirt with her just for fun. She actually thought I was interested in her, and I was like, "Baby, hold on. First and foremost, you're still fertile, okay? What a man my age producing a baby? What do you think? I'm Al Pacino? He's
Wait,
like in his 80s, and he got a newborn. I'm not Al Pacino.
But if you flirting with her, what do you think she gonna think? She don't like.
yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
that was
now
kind
let
of
me
your fault.
explain.
That was kind of your fault.
Let me explain the flirting part. Okay, we were all in the military together, so she knows the comments I was making were not flirtatious as if I was trying to get with her. She knows that for a fact. So she just got souped up on herself And you know, and the people that knew us, they were like, "Bruh, why you tripping, man? Because you see her size, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I see her size. I'm just trying to make her feel good. She big as a bread box now."
See,
Okay.
that's the problem. You're trying to make people trying to make people feel good for things they don't deserve. You know what I mean? Like she
No, it
big as a
wasn't a
bread.
deserved thing. I was just like, "Hey, because I told her, I'm like, I don't know what you expect out of life,
No,
but you got poor decision
no,
making.
no. I
You
gotta
know?
say, this though. If she a big woman and you flirting with her, the reality is it probably ain't a whole lot of people flirting with her. At some
Oh
point in
no,
time, she
no.
gotta
These
shoot her shot.
days,
No, I'm saying
oh,
at some point in time, as a big woman who don't have a bunch of people flirting with her, she gonna have to shoot her shot at some point. I can't even say she wrong for that. Why wouldn't she? You
well,
know, you got to think about
now
that too. Why
that
wouldn't
much is true. But have you seen some of these women that some of these
You
young
wrong
men are
for that,
with?
Roger.
you was
You
flirting
wrong
with
for
her
that.
though? You was flirting.
Right,
She got to take it where she can
just
get it.
having fun. Okay, hold on. Yeah, flirting with her, having fun. A one-time, one-day event at my granddaughter's
No, you
graduation.
foul, Roger. It was more than one time. You gassed her up, and that's
No, I did
cool. That's
not.
what you're supposed to do.
Excuse me, sir. I did not gas anyone up. You don't know any of the parties involved. And believe me, this is an individual who really the guy that was the guy she wanted that really she shouldn't have been with because he was married. Uh, when we were in the army, he passed away, and she was really a broken up individual after that. Later on, she got her stuff back together and all of that, and then we were like doing what we do in the military. We casually flirt with each other if we are not married people. That's just something that we do. But if,
All
No,
right, all
but if
right.
you, if
I
you,
do
if
understand that, but I'm just saying, if you a big
okay.
girl in the military, at some
No, she
point
wasn't a
in
big
time,
girl in the military. She was small. She messed around and got out, got pregnant, and got El Gorgo.
oh, okay. Well, that's different because I thought you were saying she was a big girl in the military. I was like, she
Yeah,
really
me
small.
No,
too.
no,
That's
no,
what
All
no,
I
right,
no.
thought.
you
That's
got
what
to
I
shoot
thought.
the shot if
No,
you a
no,
big
no, no,
girl.
no. You can't be a big girl in the military. It's this thing called a height and weight standard.
But ain't
No,
nothing wrong
bro,
with a big girl, man. I love big
we
women.
not.
Look,
I
bruh,
love
Look,
bruh,
big
bruh, bruh,
women.
bruh. Look. Did
look,
I
yeah,
say
yeah.
anything was wrong?
It don't make no difference. It was just a misunderstanding about what you said. Let's not turn it into
Thank
something.
you.
Lord have
Yeah,
mercy.
yeah. Thank
Okay.
you. Because, like I said, I got a certain. Like you could look at my picture there. The woman standing next to me, yeah, she passed away from. I'm not even going to go into the story with her. It's because it's just so horrendous. And it's on YouTube on Crime Watch Daily. But anyway, a woman her size and height. That's there you go right there. That's my criteria. See.
But
I
that,
didn't.
that's
I
the
didn't. I
problem.
didn't.
We keep going to criteria from physical and all of that. Like at the end of the day, like the Muslims, their criteria is way beyond physical. The
Okay.
Chinese,
Well,
their
I'm not
criteria is way
Muslim.
beyond physical. So us as black men, we have to really get that together. Now, your preference is your preference, but if they don't meet the criteria is what you bring to the table. Your preference is your
Okay.
preference. You can find now. Can you find that criteria within a fat girl? Yeah, you can find that criteria in a
But
midget.
I don't
Yeah,
like
but your
fat
preference,
girls.
but your
This
preference,
brother sharp. He's sharp. He's sharp.
Yeah.
but your
But
preference
but the thing is
is
this.
what you
Okay, you're
want.
talking about the Muslims. Okay, I'm not a Sunni or a Shia
No,
Muslim.
I didn't say you was.
No, we're
And
No, I
talking
know
about
you didn't say
man.
I was, but
Man. You
you
a man
broadly
before
put.
you a Muslim.
Leonard, the
Yeah.
comments wasn't directly toward personally you, bro. It wasn't directly
No,
personally
no.
towards
Oh,
you.
okay. Well, I mean, I was talking, and he started talking, and he said
No,
we
no,
as
no.
black men, and he
We are
said with the
having a
Muslim,
conversation, and
right?
he
He
said
said
we as black men, which means it wasn't directly toward you
right,
because he could have
but
just
then
said
he
your name.
okay, but then he said the Muslims, and I was like, well, I don't know if anybody's on here that's Muslim. Because I don't want to offend anybody about their faith. I'm just stating I'm not Shia or Sunni. You know, I
Okay,
mean,
no,
how it,
that's
I could
fine,
dig it.
brother. People of all religious backgrounds tune into the show, so we
okay,
not
I just don't
making.
want to be offensive to anybody. I mean, that.
That's cool. We not trying to
Yeah.
make it that, brother. We're not trying to make it that. We
Okay.
just talking about, because this is my thing. I think for men from a general perspective, because we do have this thing about what you bring to the table, and I'm gonna say a lot of folks now do internet talk. That's why people talk about, well, you got to make six figures. That's just internet talk. Okay, you heard somebody on the internet. He blew up. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. He blew up, and now people just repeat something. No real idea about what was going on. No idea why he even said it. No idea why he even had the show. Why? No idea why he addressed women the way they did. People just internet talk, and then there's other people who done said some stuff, and people just run with it because it's just internet talk. It's not even real. It's not serious. But a serious thing, since men have started even playing with the question of what do you bring to the table, the serious thing is men need to really tell women what the requirements are. Because what you can bring is nice, but that doesn't necessarily match what I want. See, a woman can say, well, I have a great career. I ain't picking no chick over no career, because that ain't what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for your career. Okay, I'm looking for what type of person you are. You could be a great person and work at McDonald's. You could be a great person and work at Microsoft. I don't care about your career. Now, there are some men, they care about your career. So my thing is, as men, because I done said this plenty of times, y'all, okay, black men are not confrontational enough. We're just not confrontational enough. Confrontation does not mean it's bad. It can be bad, but it doesn't have to be bad. You have to learn to start addressing women flat out, saying what you want, so she understands what's expected of her. Maybe she don't agree with those expectations. Well, she's just gonna go away. Who cares? She was just a woman at the end of the day. She ain't your lifeline. Let her go.
See, exactly.
No, but then you also have to deal with the fact that black men don't like to let people go. From a general context, black men have broken up with no one. Okay, it's very few black men that have ever broken up with anybody in their life. Now, this is something that's a us thing. Okay, we can't blame other people for it. I know this is what we was taught to do, but when you're a grown man, that's on you at the end of the day. Now, if you're an adult, I understand some of those still live at home with their parents. You could be 18, 19, still living at home with your parents. But once you leave the house and you get your own place or you get your roommate, you become grown at that point. You got to take care of yourself. As a grown man, you got to start being real about who you are so you can find out if the woman's going to match you anyway. Because the worst thing you can do is marry the woman that don't match well with you. And a lot of men have paid an ugly price for doing so. They didn't necessarily mean to, but it gets ugly out there. I've told y'all before, my own father ended up getting a divorce. It's not a nice thing to go through a divorce. Now, yeah, you got some super rich men out there that don't care because they already got a second and third and fourth home. But when you're a regular dude and you got one home, going through divorce ain't a nice thing. I've heard many stories about people who ended up back at their parents' home and they was 40-something years old, 50-something years old, and they going back to their mama house. That ain't, we got to think about this stuff. That's not really a cool thing to experience. I understand society may say something about you, but do you want to experience that yourself? Do you really want to be 55 years old and call your mama talking about, mama, can I move back in for a while because I'm going through a divorce?
Roger, you know what it is? They think that when you become 18, well, no, not even that. What makes a man a man? What age? What do you have to have as material to be labeled a functioning? Hold on, let me finish. A man. Now, listen to this, right? Dudes think they have a career, bank account, they got a house, they got a car, food, clothing, shelter. They have it all. That don't make you a
Okay,
man.
hold
That
on,
don't make you a
hold
man. No,
on,
no, no.
hold up,
Let me
bro,
finish.
hold.
Let me
No,
finish,
I'm not
please.
gonna let you finish because
God damn.
this show ain't about you trying to tear
Hello?
down men. It's about men requiring something of
Come
women.
on, man.
Do you understand the subject of the show? The show is about what men require of women. It's not you trying to define what manhood is. That's ain't what the show is about, bro. Stay on subject, bro. That's all I'm asking you to do. Stay on subject. The subject of the show is what a man requires a woman to bring to the table. It's not the other stuff. It's not what makes you a man.
I understand that.
That's something for another day. It's something for another day. I
Hold
can't
on.
do the same thing
All right,
every day.
Roger. All right. We already went through this. All I'm
Where
doing
the
is
hell? Where the hell
expanding.
is the pit crew?
All I'm doing is expanding on what you just said. That's it. Man, I
Where
know
the
the
hell is
topic. I didn't spoke on the topic already. Yo, but here's what I'm saying. You can have all these material things, but if you don't have knowledge of self, a law, and a way that you understand with yourself, if if you don't have morals, if you don't have your God, if you don't have the name of your God, there's things that make a man have substance. Substance.
Soup.
All right, I tried to save him, y'all. I tried to save him.
I know.
Okay, I tried.
I heard you too.
Yeah. Look, hey, Brent, it's nothing against you personally, brother. I tried to help what I could, but the pit crew done showed up and they done removed you, brother. The pit crew done showed up and removed you. I tried to save you.
May I say something, Roger? I need to say.
Go ahead.
This is for Chef Mike. So, remember the vampire? We had to ban that nigga for like a week. I need you to tell Roger to please ban
Brent.
Brent. Brent. He needs 2 weeks. So we're waiting for that message. Thank
okay.
you.
That's up to the pit. Well, hold on, y'all. That's up to the pit crew. Now, my bad.
I want to say this to the pit crew as well. If I don't see that message in the next 30 minutes, never speak to me again, y'all. Never speak to me.
Okay. Well, let me say this, y'all. Shout out to Sarah Barra. Support me since before the show even started. It was right before the show started. Sarah, you know what? I appreciate you because you know what? I'm thinking this. You sent me this cash app, $5. She says soup and cornbread fun, and I definitely appreciate it. And I know you be gunning for that Highland of the Stream. Maybe next time, make your mark before. I don't know which one you did first. If you did this first or then made the comment in the chat, but I'm rooting for you to be Highland of the Stream. Okay, I'm rooting for you. Okay, so shout out to you. Maybe get your comment up first before you do the cash app. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. But thank you, Sarah. I appreciate you big time. Shout out to my main man, Floyd Thompson. He comes through with the $3.67. He says hashtag SUV tax, hashtag hell Hydra, hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you very much. I appreciate it big time. Shout out to Trail Bentley. He comes through with the $5.57. He said, "These are your folks." I saw.
Oh wow, that's hard.
That's a direct strike.
So harsh.
You said they're your folks. I saw.
This is Terrell Bentley's fault, 100%.
And shout out to No Placeholder with the $5 cash app saying supporting black men. Thank you very much for that, my brother. And y'all, here it come. He just sent another one in. Another $5 cash app. I'm gonna say this is gonna be somewhat directed toward the pit crew. He say ban Brent tax. Peace, ninja. All right, well, that's up to the pit crew, y'all. That's up to the pit crew. They're gonna make their decision. So
we have a decision, Roger.
Yeah. I see it. Well, I was just gonna say, y'all, if y'all don't know who it is, and maybe y'all need to butter them up, but J-Dub, Mr. Shook to you, and Chef Mike Roundtable, that's the pit crew, y'all. Chef Mike's Roundtable is the pit master, but the pit crew is him, J-Dub, and Mr. Shook to you. So be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. Be careful. Now, Chef Mike's Roundtable has said 2 weeks ban for Brent. he has to listen to a certain amount of show hours before he can return. Learn the subjects we discuss. Hey, Brent, hey, I tried to save you, brother. I did try to save you. So in 2 weeks, you can come through and join the panel. I do recommend you listen to the show for those 2 weeks so you can understand how stuff operates around here. Yo, don't not know when you come next time. I'm gonna just say that. Don't not know when you come next time. But that's a 2-week ban. And y'all, there is no appealing to Roger. Not saying this for Brent, I'm saying for anybody. There is no appealing to Roger. Roger is not gonna change any decision anybody on the pit crew makes. So if they say something and you appeal to me, I can go ask them for you. But that's on them. Okay. That's the pit crew.
Like Chef Mike is a good brother, man. He's wise, so he'll be doing that out of nowhere. So he's a good brother, man.
Yeah. And I trust the pit crew. So that's Mr. Suge to you. That's J Dub and Chef Mike. If they said it, and it is what it is. The best thing you can do, the only thing you're gonna do if you try to appeal to me is I'm gonna go say, hey, they said something. That's all it's gonna be. Now, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. Don't get it twisted. You are not banned. I'm having a trouble getting into my YouTube studio for some reason. Soon as I can get in there, I can get you up out of that. You know what I'm saying? So Red Pill Super Cell, I am still trying to get you back in the way you're supposed to. So you definitely not banned, my brother. You're a great brother, great supporter, and I'm definitely trying to get you out of purgatory. Okay, real talk. All right.
Because Terrell, man, he got issues, man. This man, hear the word pink and start flipping out.
But nah, real talk.
Ultra shit right there, bro.
To his defense, I understood what he was trying to say. Like, he was basically just took him 40 years to say it, and that's where the frustration came in with Roger probably. But he was basically trying to say, if you don't have an understanding of a man. To be a man is like understanding the world and how things operate. It ain't what you got. But if you don't understand how things operate, you ain't going to be able to tell a woman what she needs to bring to your table. You know what I mean? So I understood.
I heard that, man,
sometimes y'all got to be able to just y'all got to be able to get in the shower, close the curtain, get wet, get out the shower, and dry your ass off. It don't take that long. You know what I mean? To let it off.
But the dude be asking for blowjobs.
Whoa.
He heard the word pink and then start flipping out. Nobody said the word pink, but he heard the word pink and start flipping out, man.
Now, I think he was reading the chat though. No, Brokey. Because I ain't hear nobody say.
This dude up, man, that Agent Orange, man, maybe he was a Vietnam vet or something.
Well, I don't know.
I don't think he's that old.
I don't know what it is. I'm gonna say good luck to him. You're welcome back in 2 weeks. You can join the panel. You're welcome back in 2 weeks from today. What's today? Today Wednesday. Okay, so not next week Wednesday, but the week after that on Wednesday, you can come back. It's cool, and we'll be. Well, technically next week Thursday, so it'll be a full 2 weeks. So the week after next Thursday, I should say. And that way it's a full 2 weeks. But hey, I'm trying, brother. That's all I can do. I'm trying, but I can't have you tear down the show either. I can't have. It is a broadcast, y'all, and I've said this before, y'all. When y'all join the panel, understand we're not in your parents' living room. We're not at your house. We're not at your friend's house. We on a public access, so anybody can hear us. We should be trying to put our best foot forward. I'm not asking people to be perfect. I ain't perfect myself, but we should be trying to put our best foot forward regardless of what your opinion is. I don't care if you got a different opinion. Just be respectful in how you say it. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe he was trying to say something that was important, but he was taking so long to get there, and I just couldn't see it and didn't want to see it at that particular time. That's all I'm saying. I ain't a perfect person myself, but the pit crew has spoken. It will be 2 weeks, and you're welcome to come back after that. Just listen to the show to get a good sense of how stuff operates over here. So when you come back, everything will be all good. Okay, yeah, everybody got a chance to speak. I'm just trying to make sure I ain't leaving nobody out. Matter of fact, let me say this too. Shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. He says, even if you have a different opinion than the Roger Report Live, that is fine. You have to be respectful to the host and other panel members in your disagreement. And that's all we want, y'all. We don't have to agree on everything to have a good show. But understand, y'all, this is a show. This is also, it's to learn, yes, but it should also be entertaining, okay? The audience likes entertainment, okay? You can learn something, but it can be entertaining at the same time. It can happen, y'all. It can happen, okay? And I gotta do a subject matter so it'll be a good show. So today's subject is, what do you make her bring to the table? Now, I'm not even saying you got to be the best man. Even if you a trash man, you still need to tell her what she got to bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe you don't want that much, but if you don't tell her what you want her to bring to the table, how's she gonna follow the program? And I do think this is because Black men we do need to learn to be confrontational with women. This is a good exercise for us to become more confrontational with women by having this discussion when it's early. Stop waiting till sex doesn't happen to say what you want her to bring to the table. Just go and tell her. Don't be like no woman. Don't well, I'm going to try to make him fall in love with me and I'll say something in 6 months. You know, don't be like that. Well, I got 3 kids, but I don't want to tell them. Once we've been sleeping together for 6 months, I'll tell him then. He'll like me. He ain't going to just throw me away at that point. Don't do that type of stuff. We not girls, y'all. We not girls. Let's not operate like them.
That is diabolical. That is because.
But y'all know they do it.
that is diabolical. That's all I can say.
Oh yeah, they will do it. I've seen it firsthand. It's like, what you? Okay.
Yeah, you could have told me that day one. You know, because ain't nothing gonna change about what I'm gonna say once you tell me. You know, truth be told, I probably respected you more had you told me first. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Because you don't, that means, okay, if you wasn't honest and earnest with that in the beginning, what else did you lie about?
Yeah. My thing is, you let me know you lie about the big things. I know people gonna lie here and there. So my thing is keep it a small thing. But if you lying about the big things, I don't know what I'm signing up for. I can't mess with this. I cannot mess with this. No. But guys, we do have to make it a habit to actually start telling women what we want them to bring to the table. Because honestly, we don't do that. A lot of guys, we clamor or we start talking out the side of our neck about certain things. Like even when this whole cheating thing, y'all. Now I tell y'all a little story, not to brag or anything like that, but even when the Kevin Samuels thing was going on, right? And y'all notice that he started changing the word cheating to exercising your options. That was because I was on the breakdown of women's perspective. He would come there as well. And I was saying, I don't believe in men cheating because being a cheater is being a coward. You want more than one woman. Why are you scared to tell her? You being a coward at that point. If you got to cheat, you're hiding the fact that you got another woman. At the end of the day, I'm not saying you're a coward in everything, but you're operating as a coward in that particular thing. That's why you start going to exercising your options instead of just saying cheat. Why are you so scared to tell her, man? If you that great. Heck, I was at a family event, just found out my cousin had 2 girlfriends. They both walked in, you know what I'm saying? I was like, is that her sister or something? I'll tell you later or whatever. Then found out he got 2 girlfriends, came in together. Okay? It can happen if you just say what you want to happen. The reason it's not happening because you ain't saying nothing. Now, I'm not saying I would want 2 girlfriends at the same time. I ain't saying that because, women is a certain amount of trouble. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that. But if that's what you want, stop being a coward and just tell your girl what you want. She either going to accept it or reject it. If she rejects it and you want it that bad, then you need to reject her so you can get the woman that's going to say yes. Because there's women who going to say yes to it. It ain't like it ain't no men out here with 2, 3, 4, and 5 women. Okay? It happens on a regular basis. I've dealt with multiple women at the same time. I didn't hide it from them. They knew they wasn't the only one. I've only messed with 3 at the same time, but hey, it is what it is. But I didn't lock them in. Like I didn't make them my girlfriend. I mess with you, but I tell women the truth. It may not be what you want, I'll tell you what I'm willing to give you because I have to live my life. And a woman's supposed to move in accordance with a man. If she really wants a man by herself, she'll go get one. Because if I tell you I'm not going to do that with you and you messing with me, that's on you at the end of the day. I already told you what it was. And I don't feel bad because some woman tries to make me change my mind. That's on her if she want to play that game. So you got to start telling women what you require them to bring to the table. Some of y'all want 2 and 3 women, but you're scared to say something. Just say it. You know what I'm saying? How you know she gonna say no? And then you get mad because now you get caught cheating, and then you lose the one that you really like. You lost over nothing because you just wouldn't tell her that you wanted somebody else. She was probably down. Women be down for a lot of crazy stuff. If y'all ain't noticed it already, they be down for a lot of crazy stuff. All you gotta do is say what you want. You know, they tell us what they want all the time, don't they? Heck, they tell us stuff they don't even really want just to see if you will say yes.
Yep.
Well, look, baby, I'd really appreciate if you buy me a new car. Girl, I ain't even know you for 3 months, but she'll say it. You know, now maybe she don't think you're really gonna go out and get her a new car. But maybe you crazy enough to say, hey, I'll put a down payment on the new car for you. She still won. She got the new car and she got the down payment out of you. That's still a big
Roger, if it's not her brand, if it's not, let's say, a Kia or something like that she wanted and everything, or if it's not a Toyota, she'll complain about it.
Well, my thing is, I ain't buying it for it no way, so I ain't worried about it. I'm not buying a car for a woman that ain't my wife. That ain't gonna even come up with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. That's wife treatment. You gotta treat the wife like a wife and your girlfriend like a girlfriend, and the chick you just dealing with like a chick you just dealing with.
All right, because I tell you, I had one. I'm sitting here like, you just the biggest dummy ever, right? The biggest dummy.
Biggest simp.
No, the biggest dummy. This one here, she wanted a 318i. Okay, I broke the whole plan down. I said, look, I got to go to Iraq for about 15 months, 16 months. Plus, everything is auto pay. Just drive my car. When I get back, I have like 16 grand in combat pay. Then I get the per diem. That's going to be another doggone 3 grand. Then I'm going to get another couple of grand that I done put to the side or whatever it is. So basically, if you want this car, I can go in there and put 23 down, which will leave $10,000 on the note, and it'll be a 1.9% APR, which would make the note $219 a month for 4 years. Nope. Dum 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 dum. I call home from Iraq. Your car. I got a car. Okay. It's like, okay.
So she couldn't wait. That's what it was.
Couldn't wait. I was like, okay. No problem. Okay. A freaking gallant. Okay.
Okay. So
No problem.
that ain't even what you was talking about.
Thank you. I'm like, you said you wanted a BMW. I said, okay, I will make it happen. But this is how it must be done because I'm not going to stress myself out with a high car note. That's just not how I roll. My credit rating is very important to me. This one, hey, she couldn't get with the program, and it got to the point when my military career ended, so did the marriage. I was like, well, it's been fun. It ain't been real fun. You got to go.
And this is a major reason why we got to let women know what we want from them. Because I'm not looking for nobody to get a divorce. I you know what I'm saying? My father didn't go through the worst divorce or anything like that, but there was some sobering things that happened when he went through a divorce because you could see how two people who love each other even though they wasn't doing a bunch of stuff in front of us, you can still see that it's hard to see them basically be enemies to each other to a certain degree. Because once you're not married, you become enemies at the end of that. Because you're trying to figure out how to take from the other person, literally. That's part of what a divorce is. You got to be the enemy to the other person. I want this, but I want this, and you don't deserve that, and I did this. So they have to be enemies to each other to a certain degree. And then for the average man, you know, and I've looked at this stuff, y'all. I found out the average man who gets a divorce ends up back at their parents' home.
Yeah, that's the average one.
It's just not. It's not a comfortable thing to be in your 40s asking your parents, "Can you move back in?" I'm not saying from their perspective. I'm saying you've been a grown man for a while. It's not comfortable for you to go ask your parents, "Can you move back in?"
Bro, you know? I feel you, because I mean, who on the panel right now, who feels comfortable coming off the top rope in their parents' house? Come on, I mean, let's just be real. Let's put it out there.
Yeah,
you got the little split tail in the room. You ready to suplex that bubble? You can't. I know me. I'm just talking for myself. I wouldn't be comfortable coming off the top rope, and I know mama upstairs, and that mama hearing it don't never change.
I get what you're saying.
Tell somebody, talk black to me. Talk black to me. That mama hearing don't change.
Yeah, that's just not going to be the most conducive situation for any brother at the end of the day. But that is the reality of divorce. People end up going back to their parents' home. You know, and for black men, most of us, that just means you're going back to where your mama lived.
Exactly.
Nobody really wants to go through that. But if you won't tell a woman what you require, that's, it's going to take a little while probably, but that's what you signing up for. You signing up to be in your 40s or 50s, talking to your mom and talking about, can I come move in for a while? No.
Yeah, well, see, my brother, no, my oldest brother, not the oldest one, but the one between, he schooled me on the game. He was like, look at little bro. Now, you get married. You need to get you a separate bank account that she don't know about. And use the address. Use the home address. So mail don't come to your house. All right. Put your little something in there every so often. So if stuff go left, you got a little nest egg so you could doggone maneuver while you readjusting your life. That's the best advice. Not the best, but that is great advice, because if not, I want a divorce. Now I gotta leave where I pay for, and where I'm gonna go? Right back to mama's basement, right? Nah. I got enough money to pay rent for a year. It's only gonna take about a year for the lawyer to make this thing happen at the most. Because divorce don't cost that much. Well, at least I know in Illinois it don't cost that much. You talk about $400 maybe. $5. No big deal.
I'm gonna say there's a lot of variables out there, because I hear what you're saying, but y'all, you might be getting divorced at a time where it ain't easy to get another apartment. You got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have that nest egg.
You
gotta have that nest egg, and then when you see that light at the end of the tunnel, you start thinking, hey, is that a train? There ain't no light. You better start adjusting your life in advance. You think women just do stuff out the blue?
Nah,
when it comes to stuff, they planners. They plan way ahead. I'm gonna take half this money.
But see, my thing is, I would marry a woman that I have to do a nest egg for, and I'm honest about women. I'm honest to women. If we get married, and then for no reason you just want a divorce, I mean, you're a grown woman. I can't tell you what you can do. I just know there's probably something you're not going to live through. That's all I know. Okay, because I'm not going to play with you. my life is too important to play with people like that. You know what I'm saying? So if I got a plan the next day, we just not getting married. And
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna let women know through the door. If you play with my life like that, hey, I mean, that's just something I would strongly advise you not to do. If you're not serious about doing this for a lifetime, I'm just not the one for you. Just go on. We can
Hey,
part
and
ways.
you gotta respect that. Me, you know, I look at marriage as a business arrangement because I can love any woman. I can love any woman. This is a business arrangement. Can we look back 5 years from today and say, look at what we built together? If we can't do that, then there's no point in continuing. Because all I need is 5 years to see which direction we going. Are we going to the future? Are we going to divorce court? 5 years. Real simple.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, especially if
See,
you let
and
women
that
know that from Jump Street.
right,
Yeah.
and that went, yeah, and that was under the guidance of my older brothers. They were like, "Hey, this what it is, and this is how you got to function." Because I mean, I had one brother. He had two. He had his wife, and then he had the side family, a whole side family. He was taking care of financially.
Well,
And I'm like, that's too much. That's too
uh,
much pressure. You know what I'm saying?
I guess my thing is I just believe in old school marriages, meaning somebody dies and that's when it ends.
Right, but
Okay,
but
that's
that's
me.
how his ended with the wife. But what I'm saying is this: if you really look back at some of them old, I'm talking like go back about 50 years ago to funerals, you'll see this daddy in the coffin, but then you see these other mystery kids, and that's when the brothers and the sisters that never knew each other, that probably went to the same high school as each other, never
Oh,
knew each other existed,
Yeah, but he
and
still
they
was
found
with
out at
that.
the funeral.
He still was with his wife from death do them part.
That's
You
I
know what I
know.
mean?
That's what I said with
well,
my brother. My brother had two families. He was married
well,
before Vietnam, and he had her and the three children, and then he had the other chick, and he had three kids over there with
Well,
her.
50 years ago, a house was $50,000. You know what I mean? So
not even that. True.
yeah,
No,
Much
yeah.
not
better than that.
really. Houses, no. 50,
What?
50 years ago, no.
Hold on. Before we argue about house prices, my thing is I ain't doing all that. If I got to have children, you ain't the one for me. I ain't had squat.
Well, I
Okay.
mean,
My thing is sometimes we do set ourselves up to go through unnecessary stuff. If I want another woman, I'll have another woman. I am a grown man. Can't nobody tell me I can't have one if another woman's willing to be with me. Point blank period. Now I wouldn't get married to a woman and then go do mess with another woman behind her back. I don't believe in stuff like that. You know what I'm
okay,
saying? I
but
don't,
bruh,
so
that's the now world. I'm talking about. I was born in the early '60s. I'm talking about the things that I saw that happened back then. Back then, it was commonplace
well,
for
I mean
because black men were, believe it or not,
stuff
black men were
happens.
making money.
No,
The Great Migration North.
I'm not
Woo.
saying it didn't happen. What I'm saying is if I was participating in something like that, I wouldn't be hiding it. That's the
Right,
difference.
right, right. That's it. You would, because I know I wouldn't participate in nothing like that. Two whole man, man, it's enough dealing with one. And you
The
be
problem,
and since
the problem
OJ,
is
since the OJ thing, you know what I mean. You got to keep your hands to yourself.
the
All
problem
them laws went into effect in '94 after OJ getting sued. Old girl, he
the
took her to
problem
Benihana.
the problem is that like in today's world and how things work, all that is dysfunction. Even if you tell her you're gonna have another woman on the side, all that is dysfunction. I would recommend. This is just my recommendation. Take it for what's worth. If you need two women, stuff like that, don't get married. Don't have kids, right? Because all these different kids, even when everybody's consistent in all these different households, it's just dysfunction. It's just dysfunctional, right? Because
Right. Well,
marriage.
that's
Well, I'm
dysfunctional
not done.
now.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done. Because marriage is about building family. I don't agree with people who talk about it's a business. I definitely do not agree with that. It's about building a family.
Yeah.
It's about having children and your children having children and so on and so forth. Having a group of people that you can count on, rely on, and that in your golden years you can look back and say, you know, we built love, we built a family, we had kids and things like that. And all that extra shit, like having kids here and there, I mean, that's just dysfunction. And another thing, I mean, if truth be told, the person who had the secret family was grandma. Matter of fact, it was so secret that you didn't even know that kid wasn't yours. That is CIA level secret. All the way 100. Because DNA testing didn't exist back then.
Well,
right?
Okay.
I'm not done.
Okay, I like to rebuttal when you're through.
But I don't. I'm not here. I'm not here to rebut with you. But what I'm going to say is this. So when we hear about these secret families, again, we have to watch the narratives, because shout out to the great detective Henry Louis Gates. More often than not, it's always the mother who had a secret family, and it's always, well, you weren't really related to your grandfather. And they'd be like, really? Oh, wow. Like it's a good thing, right? Viola Davis' grandmother had the baby with somebody else. So her grandfather wasn't really her grandfather biologically. So when we talk about secret families, let's talk about the real secret. So secret you don't know about it. And I'll land my plane there.
Okay, well, like I said, it was commonplace at one particular point in time. Today, it's not commonplace anymore. That's all that I was trying to express. It was commonplace when I was born and I was growing up, and thus and so. That was commonplace. Okay.
Well, you know what? Whether it was commonplace or not, the issue that I believe is important for black men at this particular point in time is just be honest with what you want.
Exactly.
It's hard to put a bunch of different requirements on women, and you're operating with them out of fear. And I do get that black men fear black women. We have been socialized to do this. And I'm not saying it as a hit to any man's ego. I'm just saying, y'all, we need to wake up, smell the coffee, understand that we've been socialized to be afraid of them, so we can stop moving out of fear.
There you go.
We're going to be better men if we're not moving out of fear. I am not promoting that you go get 2 and 3 women, but I'm saying if that's what you gonna do, because I ain't telling you, I ain't here to stop you, but if you gonna do it, just tell them what it is at the end of the day. Why are you hiding it? Okay,
save yourself grief. I agree, brother.
Because I think a lot of them men died earlier too because they was stressed about getting caught. Stress makes you sick when you're older, y'all. I don't know if y'all know it, but stress makes you sick when you're older. There's plenty of people up in the hospital right now who got something wrong with them, and the real source of it was some stress.
Stress-related illness. True that.
So the thing is, just tell them what you want. Look, baby, I need 2 women. That's just the type of dude I am. I need 3 women. That's just the type of dude I am. Where the Muslims get 4 wives, I heard, so I want me 4 wives. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you got to be Muslim. But if you heard Muslims can have 4 wives, and you say, well, I want 4 wives too, well, then tell the women you're messing with that so they'll understand what time it is. Everything don't have to be no mystery. Okay? Everything ain't got to be no mystery. And we told this will benefit us too. Is if you can make a woman comfortable by telling her what your requirements are, you actually might make her comfortable enough to tell you what her requirements are, and then you don't go down a road that y'all shouldn't have been down in the first place. Because she may tell you some stuff that sounds so crazy to you that you'll just easily walk away. Well, this is the thing. I got a baby daddy, and
oh God,
I still talk to him from time to time. And no, hold on now. It's a crazy world out here.
I know
it's some
I'm listening,
women.
but
It's
it's
some
just that
women.
that
Well,
term.
yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I've talked to women. Yeah, see, I told you I done did personal surveys, and I used to work with companies that did surveys. I heard crazy stuff, y'all. I know of women who wanted a man that they was messing with to not only allow her to mess with another man, she wanted the two men to have sex with each other.
Whoa.
I done heard
Yeah,
everything.
they've had women in Chicago that I know of that have, they want to do.
I ain't just saying Chicago.
I know. I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying from where I'm from. They wanted to do the full blown threesome. She wanted both of the men, and then she wanted the men with the men while she was whatever. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I ain't got the patience for that. Even a threesome, me threesome, two women. I ain't got the patience for it because somebody gonna get cheated.
What two men automatically makes it where it's not a threesome anymore. It's not a threesome with two men involved. Okay. But what I'm saying is, y'all, there's people who want crazy stuff out there. If you tell them what you want, you might make them comfortable enough to tell you what they want right away. And then you ain't got to be worried about her, you know, trying to get you entangled for 6 months and then she's going to tell you. Okay.
Hey,
You know,
Roger. I told my wife I wanted some chicken, rice and beans, and some fruit juice, and that's what I got.
Grape or red?
That's that's the way it's supposed to be.
I couldn't help myself with the grape or red. I couldn't help myself.
Say, shout out to Debonair brother, man. They shoot some shots. He say, "What's wrong with two men smashing, Roger? Careful."
Oh hell no!
No, he's making a joke. He's making a joke.
Oh okay, I was gonna say that. Hot
He
pockets.
said, "Careful, you are about to lose a follower, man." Chef Mike's offended.
God damn.
They shooting shots in the chat, y'all. They shooting shots. Now it's all love, though. It's all love. Everybody know that it's just a joke. They just be funny. It's all love.
But yo,
Yeah.
can I
Because
say something
it's
real
been.
quick?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because Leonard was saying like, yeah, back in the day, having two families was common practice, and then no brokey was like, well, that's dysfunction. And when you really look at it, that is dysfunction because that was the reason why grandma used to talk to grandpop any old way. Cause she already know this nigga did some crazy shit, so now she on her crazy shit, and it leads to dysfunction. When my grandfather passed away, I learned that we had another family on the side, and my grandmother knew, and I always used to be like, my grandpop's like 280, 6'3", and my grandmother skinny mini, and she would just talk to him all, but and then I realized like, yeah, his son violated. So he just gotta take his lashes how he take his lashes. She ain't never went overboard, but she used to give him the business. So at the end of the day, that might be why this whole thing is all the way messed up, because it goes back to niggas. We can't control our penises.
Yes, you can.
Hot Sauce said, if you don't want to get her pregnant, you put it in her mouth. That's all they had to do from the jump street. You ain't got to have a whole nother family on the side, but you can still get your ride on.
Yeah. Me, I don't know what you got people that are like that, whatever. I'm not one of them guys. I mean, they have women tell, well, so how's your relationship with your baby mama? Baby mama, you mean my ex-wife? Well, that's your baby. No, that's an ex-wife. A baby mama is some chick you can randomly doggone swole up. Okay, so
Yeah,
you were
that's
married
grandpa.
before you were married before you became a father. I'm like, yeah. And if we over here, I go into my little box
Baby.
of paperwork and be like, blam, see them divorce papers?
So
Don't the
there's
divorce papers say neither person had any children prior to this one child being born? No, now how many kids do I got? Well, I just know your son. That's okay then. I'm responsible.
well, look at it like what you're saying, right? Well,
Hmm.
all them things that you said was common practice. Those was baby mamas being made.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That
So
was
if
that,
even
now
if
I
it
said
was
it's common
so,
practice. I
yeah.
didn't say it was right.
So it was basically dysfunction, and that's probably
Exactly.
why we got 50, 60 years later the shit we got going on right now. And we as
What?
thinking black men gotta correct this shit for the kids that's coming, for the young boys, the 21 years old that's coming after us.
Well, if I could make a brief statement, something like this came up before, and I told somebody trying to connect the dots of the past with the baby mama thing. If you really want to do something preposterous, you can go all the way back to the days of slavery when you had breeding farms. See, and women just were bred to have babies and this and that, and none of the fathers were the husband. You know, you can go back that far and then say, well, it's something within the DNA of black Americans, yada, 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 which is completely not true. It's all about doggone decisions. You have a choice. You have an active choice to make. You could choose to do it this way, or you could choose to do it that way. It's all about choice. And the sooner, and I'm finna land a plane right here. The sooner black Americans function on choice instead of playing the blame game and trying to, well, this situation with that and this, stop all that. You're responsible. You are Joe the boss of your own body.
But that's why I didn't go back to
I,
slavery. That's
I
why
have
I
to
didn't go back to slavery, because we ain't have
Right,
a
right,
choice.
right. I'm just saying,
I
but to hold one minute, brother. I'm not trying to be
Well,
overbearing.
no, hold on. That when he speaks, we let him, because he has what we call Ivy League privilege. So if he wants to interject, we're gonna kind of let him interject. So we get back to you, but go ahead, no brokies.
So and shout out to nameless protagonist, from 1000 Tijuana Hookers. It's in the blood, man. It's in the blood. Like, if your foundation comes from whoredom, because all of us come from a birthing farm, right? So the
No,
foundation, it's in the blood. It's called epigenetics.
Yeah.
Your choices play a role, but your DNA also play a role, right? Just like a vampire, right? They can try to resist it, but at some point, the hunger is going to call, and you're going to succumb to it. Bottom line, and at the end of the day, the niggas who can control and not have kids out of wedlock, you're day walkers. That's all you are. Is you're a day walker, because at the end of the day, the foundation comes from whoredom. That's why we're the better athletes, right? Because over time, slavery conditioned us to be better athletes. If you want to talk about stroke game, that's why stroke game is good, right? Because we were designed to breed, right? You stroke out the woman in the breeding farm, and you stroke out the missus while master is stroking out your sister. So I mean, that's what it is, man. Epigenetics it's in the DNA. It's in the DNA. And matter of fact, that's why these kids are so messed up now. Because by the time you get your girl pregnant, she got like 50, 60 different DNA sequences in them. Then when your kid is born, you're like, where did he get that behavior from? The 50 niggas.
Okay, well, when you got scientific proof to back that up.
Yeah, no, that's scientifically proven.
It is scientific proof, because when you, like, for example, right, when we look at racing horses, right, that's why when you look at certain family lines, they always talk about pure bloods and pure breeds. That's where the term comes from, right? Because pure blood and pure breeds, right, are different people. And that's why when you look at the different families that run the U.S. and stuff like that, everybody's related, right? Because they're quote unquote pure bloods or blue bloods, right? Everybody knows that. Even when you're raising livestock, right? Cuts of meat like Wagyu beef and things like that, right? Because there's not too much mingled DNA in the beef. There's not too much mingled DNA in the there's a type of ram that goes for $1,000 per kilo, right? But it's a purebred. It's sold in South Africa and it's sold in the Middle East, right? They're purebreds, thoroughbreds, right? Because they know that like too much DNA will mess up the system.
Wait, hot sauce. You know how you just simplify for niggas? Dogs. Y'all niggas know what
There
a
you go.
purebred dog is,
There
right?
you go.
Well, on that note, we're gonna have to bring it to the end, y'all, because we about to hit the 3 hour mark. We are literally at 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 3 seconds. So we about to close this thing on up out. It's been a great show. I'm gonna say shout out to Brent. You can come on back in 2 weeks, but I do recommend you listen to the show so you can see how things operate a little bit more for those 2 weeks. Because I don't want you to be thrown off again. That's not what I'm looking for.
Record
Looking for to happen. Okay.
That nigga broke a record, Roger. 2 weeks. That's the first, right there.
I mean, he got thrown off twice in 2 days too, so I think that might be a record. I don't think Marcus ever did.
Yeah,
Twice in 2
I
days.
never did that one.
Yeah, so yeah, brother, I'm rooting for you. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm rooting for you, man. It's gonna be all right. I'm rooting for you. So, but I don't go against whatever the pit crew says. So it just is what it is. But y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming through. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And everybody, make sure you like the video, man. Like the stream. Real talk. Real talk. Like the stream. Okay. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9 a.m. Chicago time. I don't care if you live in Milwaukee. It's Chicago time. Okay. I'll see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.